every... What day is it?
Tuesday?
Tuesday night! His ghost returns to wreak his horrible vengeance.
Oh, but tonight's Tuesday night!
Then he'll be coming.
Fade in.
I mean, I'm not the only one that's ever been bullied by this company. And I know that so deeply.
Cancel culture is real, it's insane, and it's growing exponentially, and it's coming to a neighborhood near you.
When we look at cancel culture here at home, we see those efforts to cancel or silence those that they don't want the people to hear from, those who may offer a different idea than the one that those in power want people to see or to hear.
I mean, I'm on that fucking show. Now I got to watch what the fuck I say.
You'd be surprised how people act way differently than they do on the internet in comparison to how they act in real life.
80% of Americans, young, old, rich, poor, conservative, liberal, white, minority, all hate the current atmosphere of hypersensitivity. Yeah, everybody hates it, and no one stands up to it.
I don't have a problem with power. I have a huge problem with abuse of power.
Your side thinks silence is violence and looting is not. Because you're the party of chasing speakers off college campuses and making everyone walk on eggshells and replacing let's not see color with let's see it always and everywhere, formerly the position of the Ku Klux Klan.
How stupid is that cancel thing? They're literally running out of people to cancel. They're going after dead people now. They're trying to cancel John Wayne.
It's one of the negative things that came from the internet is that it got a bunch of people being able to get away with just being just disrespectful to the point to where you're tying people to the worst of the absolute worst.
So that when the woke mob comes after you for some ridiculous offense, you'll stand your ground. Stop apologizing. Because I can't keep up anymore with who's on the shit list.
It's really easy to tweet #FireWhomever. And the fact is, anyone who does that, you're a fucking trash person.
Don't try to ruin my life with lies when your life can be ruined with the truth.
Memo to social justice warriors. When what you're doing sounds like an Onion headline, stop.
Let's talk. I'll look you in your eyes. You're not gonna feel hate. I promise you.
She was an absolute sweetheart.
Yeah.
Super nice fucking person, and whatever. And somehow someone will take this video and they'll fucking make me say something else and try to get rid of my bald action figure.
Democrats need to listen to our new president-elect's old boss.
This idea of purity and you're never compromised and you're always politically woke and all that stuff, you should get over that quickly.
Green lights, baby. Let's go.
Say, kids, what time is that?
Tonight's Tuesday night!
It's Tuesday, and I am sick of cancel people. How's it going, everybody? Wow.
I'm good. I'm alive.
Slow start.
Oxygen, carbon dioxide. I'm good.
Yeah. Wow. Is everybody on a... Well, did you put yourselves on like a 7-second dump delay or something? Oh, we just lost Stacy.
We lost Stacy.
Oh, no. Well, okay then.
All right.
Are you guys hearing anything in the other room?
Stacy just got canceled somehow.
No,
Are you hearing anything in the other room?
Yes, I hear a television.
Oh, I could turn it down. Hold on. I'm having company. If people didn't know,
it's cool. It's good.
My madre is staying with me for 10 days. So.
Nice. Well, we'll go around the horn while you go turn your TV down. Right over here would be Spoiler Pete. How are you, Spoiler Pete?
Hi, how are you? Like I said, heart beating, oxygen in, carbon dioxide out. I am doing A-okay.
Any spoilers for us?
No, but I have an interesting choice of viewing for the end of the show.
Cool.
I'm looking forward to showing off.
Okay, cool. Don't let me forget about it.
Okay, I won't.
Below Spoiler Pete is in that corner there. Judah Buddha.
What's up, everybody? How's everybody's week? We got a good thing coming at the end of this week, right, guys?
Yeah,
something exciting. Something very exciting.
Yeah, I'm very excited.
We've all been waiting how many years?
4.
How has it been 4 years?
Yeah, almost 4.
I remember going to Comic-Cons and people would hashtag Snyder Cut or something, save the cut or something.
Yep, release the Snyder Cut.
So this is a big deal. Yeah.
Yeah. Below me, now he's kind of off to the side. Judah Buddha's brother, Jason. How are you, man?
Doing great.
Excellent.
Hola to everyone.
How's the weather out there in San Diego?
Taco Tuesday, baby. Oh, it's great. It's like 74 degrees. Beautiful. It's out in the backyard. I don't know.
We had that like 4 days ago, and now it's like 30.
We had like a terrible windstorm. Remember? Did you guys experience all the wind?
Yes.
Indeed.
And all of a sudden it was like 50 degrees, and then I swear, like within hours, it was like 30 and just friggin' wind hollowing, blowing things over.
Welcome to New England.
And it never went back up. So we've been in the 30s now for like the last 3 days.
Stacy's back.
I'm back. Sorry.
Stacy's
Olaf
back.
therapist. Is that what that says?
Yeah.
What does that mean?
It's our story of the week.
Yeah, our story of our weirdo news of the week. Which, by the way, Stacy and I came up with an idea to just take we're clipping out the weirdo story of the week and putting it out as a separate little short video. Doesn't seem very popular yet.
I know. I don't know why. It's a quick little watch. It's
and they're
funny.
goofy. They're fun.
It's different. It's not this side screaming at this side, or you cancel this, cancel you. It's not the usual thing that's going on. It's weird shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Doesn't like weird shit. Even the cringy stuff is
it's
fun.
different.
It is cringy, but it's fun.
I got to start going on TikTok because I think that's where all the weird stuff is.
Oh my god!
There's like
don't go down that rabbit hole.
You can find
That's
anything
bad
in
for you,
TikTok.
You're too old for TikTok.
I thought so too, but now it's starting to leak into the boomers. Boomers are starting to watch it.
That's the end of TikTok, then.
Like people I work with are watching it now, and I'm like, oh, really?
That's what we got to do. We want a concentrated effort to get rid of social media. We have to have all the boomers get involved.
That was a plot of a South Park episode. They wanted to get rid of the Pokemon ripoff.
That's right.
So
Chin Pokemon.
Chin Pokemon.
Yeah, and they couldn't figure out how to do it, so they said, wait a second, let's all start getting into it. And the kids said, this is dumb. So they just all forgot about it.
Yes, that's right. You know what bothered me about that? I wanted to get Shoe, and then they were gone. I couldn't get Shoe.
Well, Shoe is the rarest one. I think he's going for over $300 on eBay.
Wow.
Yeah.
So we're going to get into we got to talk about the Snyder Cut right up front because there's a couple of things going on. First, our selfish announcement.
Yes.
Kind of our channel is we are going to see it in a theater thanks to the lovely Stacy, who was able to rent the theater that can stream.
Brother, you got to get your ticket.
And
get it tonight. Order it tonight.
We're being accompanied by Mitch Halleck, showrunner of Terrificon and Connecticut GamerCon, and Terry Ordway of DC Comics fame.
Very cool.
So I got in a conversation with them yesterday, and it was agreed upon. This is going to happen now Friday morning at 11 a.m. Eastern on this very channel. Mitch and Jerry will be doing a live stream review with us here of Justice League. So we're going to have the Superman expert, Jerry Ordway, tell us what he
Very cool.
Yes. Can't beat that. So that's Friday morning at 11. Yeah.
Mojo's excited.
What he said.
What I said. 11 a.m.
Mojo can't wait.
I can't wait.
Tomorrow, there's this is awesome. Uche Waneri, you can see down here on his little YouTube channel. Uche is hosting a live stream tomorrow. It starts at 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 Central, I believe. Zack Snyder is joining him to co-host.
Nice.
And they're raising money for suicide prevention.
Nice.
Worthy
You can
cause.
see already before this thing has even started, they've raised 16,000 plus.
Amazing.
Already. I did donate. Since I actually this has affected me personally. Someone I lived with dealt with this issue.
Mhm.
And right here, Pam Smith just donated $50, so they're still earning. What we're seeing here is an 11 by 17 piece of artwork, concept art, signed by every single person in the cast. So Jason Momoa, Ben Affleck, Henry Cavill, Gal Gadot, Ezra Miller's here it is, Ezra Miller, Ray Fisher, and right here Zack Snyder. So
very cool.
Thing is going to go. So they're auctioning off some items. A few have been announced, and I guess Zack and I'm guessing other people will donate some other ones too tomorrow. So I will definitely be in this stream and supporting this, and this is just going to be awesome. And then we get Thursday, we get the movie itself.
Yep.
So anybody watching the replay, please head over to Uche's channel tomorrow at tomorrow evening and jump on this stream and get involved. It's for a good cause.
Speaking of artwork for this movie, has anybody ever seen Jim Lee's storyboards for this movie?
Yes.
I heard they're amazing. I heard he did like huge like walls of just storyboarding. And I saw some online, but I don't know if there's another place to go to look at them. But I'd be super excited to see that stuff.
Yeah.
Why do I segue into everything? Or is this not a segue?
It's not a segue. It's a comment.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I just saw John's comment. I was like, shit. Were you talking about this? Did I ruin it?
No, while we're here, I put this story up front because I think this is pretty cool. We've had this thing with Ray Fisher since the summertime where he's been, calling out Joss Whedon and Jeff Johns and all this stuff.
And he's going to be way more into this movie now.
Right. Well, and a lot of it was because he was cut from the Justice League. So Ray Fisher calls out the Hollywood Reporter for inaccurate claim that Zack Snyder cut Kiersey Clemens from Justice League. So the news that Kiersey Clemens will return to the role of Iris West in Andy Muschietta's The Flash has been overshadowed by the fallout surrounding the story reporting in the trades, as Justice League actor Ray Fisher and others have called out the Hollywood Reporter for inaccurately stating that the actress was cut from Justice League, where she would have made her debut as West by original director Zack Snyder. The publication said Snyder cut her from the film before handing the reins over to Joss Whedon. This, of course, is untrue, and they're being called out on it by diverse parties. One of those is none other than outspoken Ray Fisher, who has accused Hollywood Reporter of trying to mitigate decisions that will still haunt Warner Brothers. And he tweeted, "I appreciate those at THR attempting to help mitigate blowback for the racist decision-making of Warner Brothers Pictures executives in 2017. But hear me now, Zack Snyder never cut Kiersey Clemens from Justice League. Fix this article immediately." So good on Ray.
All right.
Good on Ray. It's being fair, right? So, quick show of hands here. Who's looking forward to seeing this?
I think everybody here, right?
Yeah.
I haven't seen the first cut, so I'm going into this completely.
That's the way to do it. And then I would watch
Joss.
Right. And the only reason why I didn't see the first one because everybody here and I don't know how many dozens other people told me not to see the piece of shit. So,
hail, Edwin.
Hey, Edwin.
Hello.
By the way, we should check on that. You're almost at 5,000, I believe, for your fundraiser. I mean, your crowdsourcing. I keep calling it a fundraiser. It's pretty
crowdfunder. Yeah.
So my question is, and I was thinking about this the other day. You guys are going to go into this and completely. You already know sort of where it's going to go, but you're going to see the changes. And
I
hope that doesn't ruin it. But
no, the first movie doesn't count.
It's been so long since I've seen it. I don't even.
It's completely different. So what I did to prepare was I watched Man of Steel and BVS Ultimate Edition again. So like to me, that's where it left off.
Yeah.
If you see the right, if you see
Wonder Woman, they're going to go looking for the other metas.
If you see the director's cut of Batman versus Superman, it's a completely different movie.
That's what I watched.
Right. Yeah.
Exactly.
And I think I was trying to convince my brother to see that version, but you were already sold that the thing was so damn terrible. There was no way of fixing it.
No.
Jason,
I still
he
have
was
never
like,
seen
I'm not going to see the director's cut. I don't give a shit.
No.
Yeah. Look, I'll be the first to admit I'm not a big fan of the way Zack Snyder has, the version of these characters he's portrayed, because they're kind of wrong. But I get what he was doing. It's something different. And you're right, though, Jude. The Ultimate Edition, totally.
Yeah.
totally changes.
And it's funny because there's some scenes with Superman where when you watch the original cut, you were like, why did he do that? And then when you see the director's cut, you're like, holy shit, why didn't they put that in the freaking movie? Because it tied it all up why he was doing what he was doing.
Yeah,
tied the room together.
A lot of the Lois Lane stuff.
Like the Drake.
In her investigation into what's going on ties the whole story together.
It's dumb. It's like it's dumb. I'm dumbfounded why they did that. It's just stupid. It's just
that's a studio for you. You know, they go, oh, geez, you can't. They're not going to sit for a 3-hour movie, even though we're already there for 2 hours and 30 minutes. It won't matter, right?
But that's like going to the library and ripping out pages of a book, and people don't reading it don't even know. You know, it's like don't do that.
Pretty much. So that's our fun stories for right now. But we had a couple of bad ones this weekend. So Mark C, I don't know. You guys are kind of new to. Pete might remember from watching some streams. Mark C,
yeah, he looks familiar.
He was never really. He didn't have his own channel, but he was always in the chats. He was in all the Friday Night Tights chats, all Doomcock's chats, Midnight's Edge. Everywhere you went, you found him, right?
Yeah.
He popped up, and he was like a comic book encyclopedia. This guy. And about a month and a half ago, he was on. I think he was on Doomcock's stream, and when he announced that he had cancer, and he was having treatments for cancer, and then a couple weeks later, he was home from the hospital, and he was feeling good, and like everyone kind of thought he was going to pull through, and then we found out Friday that he didn't make it.
Sad.
Yeah, so. Mark Steve Chure, age 47, died March 10th, 2021, after a brief battle with cancer. He was a 1991 graduate of Denham Springs High School, attended Southeastern Louisiana University. In his youth, he was an Eagle Scout and member of the Order of the Arrow, a talented artist with a love of comic books, classic rock, superheroes, and Star Wars. He even had a greater love of his son, Jack Curry, and the love of his wife, Lisa Petrier. We are thankful that his suffering wasn't long and drawn out, but his loss is one that will always remain. He is also survived by his mother, Linda H. Chure, sisters Eliza Vincent, Elizabeth Mathern, his nephews Abby Minash, Ben Vincent, Aubrey Mathern, and Ethan Mathern. Terrible butchering. I'm sorry about that. Goddaughter Abigail Bernard and Ethan Burkett. He is preceded his death by his father, Mark K. Chure. Let's get the viewing thing. We invite those in attendance to dress casual attire in honor of his interest in comic book arts and Star Wars. In lieu of flowers, donations may be made to the Hero Initiative. Thanks to the staff of Baton Rouge General, Blue Bonnet, and Carpenter House for their care and compassion. And I just wanted to bring that up because this ripped a hole in the fandom late last week. And Doomcock was sobbing on his stream. It was awful. He meant a lot to people, and it just sucks, you know. 47 years old.
How old are you?
So fast. Happened so fast.
God, he was only eight days older than me.
Yeah, right?
Wow.
Yeah. When you think about that, he's younger than me. So, yeah, it's, and you can see here, Doomcock said, oh my God, I'm devastated. We just found out that Mark C has passed. I'm heartbroken.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, Chadwick Boseman, his birthday was November 29th, 1976, and mine's August 5th, 1976, and that struck a chord with me, and I'm like, holy crap, like, people, this happens at our age, so it's scary. Thought.
Yeah. Yeah.
But anyway, not to sound
it must have been a very aggressive cancer, too, because it took him rather fast, it seems.
Really fast. Yeah. Yeah, like I said, he was on, God, I think it was Doomcock's again. It was right around the time when Texas got hit with the storms. And he was in the chat that night, and he was home, and he said he was home, and he was feeling okay, and everybody's like, you'll beat this, Mark. We got, and then, God, a couple weeks later, it's over.
That's why.
Yeah, one more.
Joy every day. Joy every day.
This was posted today. Yaphet Kado dies. Bond villain, homicide star, alien, and Midnight Run actor was 81. Yaphet Kado in the Bond movie Live and Let Die, like, was terrifying to me. That was the first Bond movie I saw when I was a kid, and that whole movie was kind of terrifying because it had voodoo and all that weird stuff.
Yeah,
it was kind of weird, but most of the geekdom knows him from Alien.
Yep.
So
and he was a great character in Alien.
A great character. He was a big guy, big physical presence. So yeah, a Midnight Run. That's right. He was. You ever see that Midnight Run with Charles Grodin and
Great.
Robert?
Great movie.
Great movie. Kado's the FBI agent trying to track him down. So
He was the only one in Aliens that really put some. I know this sounds weird, but he put some comedy in Aliens. If you took him out of Alien, the movie, there would be no comedy sort of references in it. I don't know. He was just funny in it. He was the engineer down in the basement, complaining about not getting paid and wanting shore leave.
Right.
So.
But you have
No,
to do
nobody?
those kind of movies too, though. You have to have a character that breaks up the
Right. Like when the
tension the whole time.
When he's being quarantined and they're watching him, they're trying to remove the face hugger, and he's like, "What the hell is that?" Like just the way he's explaining it, like it's just funny.
Yeah, exactly. So he had 81, not terribly old, but it was still a good run, and it's a shame. I'm gonna have to watch Live and Let Die or Alien now. Yeah. Hey. Yeah. I hope you're not watching us while you're driving, Mr. Lundell. Please keep your eyes on the road. Hey, explore the universe.
Wind tunnel.
We're gonna be collaborating soon. I can't wait for that. That's gonna be awesome. So one last ending, I guess you'd call it. Drew Brees announces his retirement after a 20-year NFL career. This was yesterday or day before. And I don't know if, does he transcend football? I think he does because...
Oh, yeah, he's got the personality for it.
Well, for me, what sticks out is in 2005, I don't know where all the pictures, videos are gone, but in 2005, after Katrina, he kind of became the rallying point around the rebuild.
Mm-hmm.
He put a lot of his own money into helping the city and helping the citizens of New Orleans, and kind of spearheaded their revitalization. And he became kind of a cult hero from that point forward in New Orleans. So, it says right here, he became a leader in the community following setbacks that Hurricane Katrina dealt our region. Over and above his outstanding performance, Drew came to represent the resolve, passion, and drive that resonates not only with Saints fans and football fans, but our entire community.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why, he became synonymous with the city. So, and it was just a shame. His skills had deteriorated. You could see it, especially in the playoffs this year. They were trying to protect him. He was so bad.
Mm-hmm.
It was just a shame. But you know what? Hell of a career. And for us shorter people, I'm a short guy. Drew Brees is inspirational. He was undersized and still was very dominant in his position.
Mm-hmm.
So, yes, that's gonna be fun.
Fun on a bun,
guys. Oh, look at that! Yes, Drew Brees. So, yeah. So we'll see him in the Hall of Fame in 5 years, no doubt. First ballot Hall of Famer. Who's ready for news of the weird?
Oh, give us the news of the weird. What sort of weird? The weird. What sort of weird news do you have for us?
This is really, really weird. Hang on.
It's like it skips weird and goes to some other place that's much further.
It really does. So,
of course, it starts with Florida Man. It starts with Florida Man.
This was from 2019, but it's important to what's So, I was on Stephen Walton's stream the other night when this came up, so I had to quickly bookmark it because I know we do news of the weird, and we're always looking for something strange.
Mm.
So this, that's why Stacy, you're here to help Olaf.
Yes.
So Florida man arrested for allegedly sexually assaulting a stuffed Olaf at Target,
which is a snowman.
Yes.
Snowman from Frozen.
An inanimate object.
Inanimate object.
In the toy section.
Let it go.
Cody Meter, 20, is accused of placing the popular snowman on the floor and dry humping it until he ejaculated at the Pinellas Park store at 2 p.m.
2 p.m.
2 p.m.
Do you want to build a snowman?
Meter then found a stuffed unicorn in the store that he allegedly dry humped before the cops arrived.
Like, why does he? If he does that in public, what does he do in private? I mean, never mind. Don't answer that. I don't even want to think about it.
Stacey, do you have any theories? We'd love to hear them.
I mean, Olaf doesn't have clothes on, so I mean, the big question here is: was he asking for it? I mean,
how is it no one took? And how is it no one took? How is it no one took their phone out? No one took their phone out. They take their phone out for all kinds of shit, and how is no one captured this?
I don't know, but here's why it's relevant today, because just last week, March 9th, they finally ordered. Hey, go away, banner. Where's my headline? There it is. They finally ordered a psych eval for this guy.
Oh, you don't say.
Okay.
Yeah. Florida judge on Monday ordered a psychological evaluation of the man accused of sexually assaulting 2 stuffed dolls, including an Olaf from Frozen in a Target store. Cody Meter, 22, was appointed a psychologist by the circuit court judge ahead of a hearing next month to determine his competency to stand trial.
It's been 2 years.
He's been charged with criminal mischief and exposure of sexual organs allegedly targeted.
I hope someone threw it out.
It said it. They said they destroyed it. If you, it says they.
They had to destroy it. My God, can you imagine if they put it back on the shelf?
You hump it, you buy it. That's the new slogan for Target in Florida.
Used.
I want to know how big this thing is. How big was this thing? Was it?
Does it matter?
Why are you so obsessed with the video? You know,
I
you
didn't
really
say
want
I
to
was
see it.
obsessed with the video. No one shot a video of it. They
You
reported.
want to see a
news.
video? You're obsessed.
Well, people take their phones out for everything now when they see it in public.
I love this. He admitted his dirty deed to cops, saying that he did stupid stuff and nutted on the Olaf.
Oh. Again, you hump it, you bought it. That's the new signs.
Yeah.
You know?
Only in Florida.
Only in Florida. There's a
seriously. Ugh.
So, so the Irish Sun reports 50 Shades of Greyhound dog owners snap up 250-pound fluffy sex dolls for their randy pets. So,
where are we going with all this?
No one should be this concerned about their pet's pleasure needs. Nah.
Oh my
introducing M
God.
Dog, comfortable experience.
What?
Built-in sensor acoustic generator.
Why though? Why?
No.
Is it just
toxic hair?
Is it just because you could sell it? Is that what the? It's got a rib cage. What is? It's enforced,
Steel.
reinforced
Yeah.
steel.
For bigger
Stainless
dogs.
steel.
Yeah. I mean, you get a randy dog on top of there. And,
Is it machine washable? I mean, come on, man.
It says it's cleanable, but
Can't expect this thing to be
ew,
just sitting around. It's like imagine people walking into your house and seeing this thing in the corner, dude. Ugh.
Yes. Yeah. So that's the news of the VS for this week.
wash my brain out, please.
Well, if you don't want me picking these stories, you guys can find other ones. I'm just trying to be helpful.
Hey, it fits the category, you know.
TikTok, man.
Well, come on. The whole thing started with the guy who married a sex doll and cheated on her with a cheese grater. So
Yes.
that's where the genesis of this was. So
Yes.
we're just keeping up with it. All right. I'm gonna be a politician.
Oh God.
Hey.
They're worse.
I can say this, as bizarre as this might be. He's very moderate. He's a common sense guy. He's a very common sense guy. I don't think he likes either side, and I think he would just be like, "Look, let's just do what I think is the most logical thing to do here." And so we'll see. But I don't know. I mean, he's probably looking at it like, the big budget blockbusters are gone.
Well, he still has a career.
Just sitting behind a desk.
He still has a career as an actor. I mean, does he want to give that up?
Maybe he's not satisfied with that.
Hang on.
In the with Lincoln commercials.
Yeah. Well, he's been pretty outspoken about cancel culture and all this kind of stuff. So,
well, his memoir, I think, he kind of touches on a lot of subjects and
they're gunning for him too. The mob does not like him. So, I think that's part of the motivation is like, we need common sense here. We got to just get back to just stop with this nonsense.
I mean, and who doesn't want a legislator that pounds the drum naked? You know what I mean?
Right.
Works for me. I mean, you got to have a body like that, but there's a line, I think. But
well, he
gets older, they stay the same age.
Yeah. What was that character's name? I just watched that movie too. God, it's so bad. I don't know why I was watching it, but it's such a bad.
It was the opposite.
It's like American Graffiti bad. bad. It's like the same exact story, just not good.
Wait, what?
One more kind of weirdo thing.
What?
Yeah.
Hiking.
Yellow Flash posted this morning, so I had to go find it. Hiking has a diversity problem because walking in the woods, like a free walk in the woods, is clearly a problem. I don't understand. Just skimming through, they cite every single possible reason why all these categories need to be fixed. I don't understand. You know, there's no diversity problem in hiking because there's no they don't have like a guard standing at the front. You can't come into the woods because you're brown or you're Muslim or you're in a wheelchair. Like, what the hell? I this is where we are. This is where we are. That's why. All right. Let's put a stop to this nonsense.
Let's all have a barbecue. Sit around, talk about diversity.
We all just get along. So yeah, So
okay, sure. Why not?
Yeah.
Sure.
Anybody up for a hike? I think the strangest one was this one right here, the disabled hikers. Disabled Hikers, a resource center for those with disabilities who want to go outdoors, is based in the Pacific Northwest but is making inroads in California. The group accepts trail guides written by members of the disabled community and has plans to expand its reach to other cities, including Los Angeles.
Okay.
So, okay, but I mean, what are you supposed to do about nature? It's like nature.
Yeah.
You know?
Maybe they should be working on better technology for like wheelchairs that are accessible for people that can go in really difficult terrains, you know?
Road wheelchairs.
Yeah.
You can't be complaining about nature because after all, it is Mother Nature. So therefore, you're a sexist if you're complaining about nature.
It is not fair to the trees. Just ask Stephen Walton about the trees. He'll tell you all about the trees. It's bizarre. So like, unfortunately, I mean, there are just some things you can't fix. It's just the way things are. And you can, maybe, you know how you have like skate parks.
Yeah.
Maybe you can like set up something like that.
Right.
But you can't, like, what are you supposed to do? Like, how do you handicap proof the woods?
You can't.
Right. That's what I mean. Like, just stop with this nonsense, Victoria. Stop. Making me crazy.
Yeah.
Well, I live near hiking trails here in San Diego, and they actually made some of the areas very wheelchair friendly. So there's some that are very flat that people that are in wheelchairs or handicapped can hike. So I have a problem with that article, of course.
Even around here, we have the old rail trails. Jude, you know about this. The rail trails that they've paved over.
Yep.
They're a good car length and a half wide, or car width and a half wide, easy. And people rollerblade and jog and ride their bikes.
Yeah.
And you can do that.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and they expanded it now. I think now it almost goes through the whole state. You can travel from
one... Yeti Cast. Great show.
Yeti Cast.
Great show last night. I pilfered some of your material. Yeah, so you know,
it's nonsense.
If you want to go up the hill, up the mountain.
Well, you're not.
Yeah, but like you could be 40 years old, perfect, able-bodied person that's out of shape and can't do it either. So it's good. We all have limitations.
You know, as far as the other categories where it's like, you know, we don't see enough Latin people, we don't see enough Black people. Like, give me a break. I go hiking and
that's ridiculous.
Yeah,
I see 90-year-old ladies out there.
Yeah,
with dumbbells.
Yeah, I mean, if any of you have ever run a road race, you know, obviously it doesn't matter what age. I've run.
The older people kick everyone.
Yeah, I've run road races where I see like, you know, old people running past me, and I'm like,
oh, me too. Yeah.
You know, I'm doing 40-minute miles. These guys are doing 25-minute miles.
Dude,
you know,
remember that time we did
finishing a race, rather.
We did like 20 miles on the rail trail with my ex.
Remember, she hauled ass.
She just spooked us, man. She's gone.
And it was the weirdest thing. She never picked up her legs. It was just like she was like a machine. But I've
Who is
run
this?
My ex-girlfriend.
Kate's ex-girlfriend, yeah.
Oh.
But I've run 5Ks where it's taken me 45 minutes, and I've finished in people in a higher age class, like
Oh, same here.
20, 25 minutes.
It's all right. No shame. My game. It is what it is.
I mean, whatever. It doesn't matter.
All right, let's get into.
It's all mental. That's what I think. When I run, I keep thinking I still need to up my mental game because my body falls apart quick.
Yeah. You got to do the Rocky thing. You just got to, push through it. Yeah. All right. I guess we should get into what we're here to do, right? Which is pop culture, news, rumors, and nonsense. We'll start with some nonsense. Actually, there's a lot of nonsense this week. What did Bill Burr say at the 2021 Grammy premiere ceremony that got him in all kinds of trouble? I actually have the clip right here.
I watched it. It's pretty.
Yeah, I've seen it too.
And it's funny because it's the pre-Grammys. It wasn't even on during the main Grammys, FYI.
Well, yeah, because he was covering a category nobody really gives a shit about.
And it's really funny they chose these categories to give to him.
Right. So here's what he said.
Hey, how many feminists are like going nuts? So why is this cis white male doing all this Latino stuff? And the Grammy goes to Grupo Niche.
Funny part is he's not wrong. So that got him in,
Well, did you hear what he said when he first came out? Because there was like a person playing a piano thing.
Oh, I know what he said. He said,
does anyone else want to kill themselves after sitting through that one?
Oh my God.
That to me, that was worse than this.
Oh, that was way worse.
Because the woman
that's so him, man.
Because the woman who introduced him was like, "Oh my God, that was so moving, and I'm so touched by that. That was beautiful." Bill Burr, and he comes out and goes, "Did anybody else want to kill themselves after listening to that?" I died.
Oh my God.
I died.
He always just makes me go, "Oh, really?" But it's like funny because it's just stupid,
But I couldn't believe I'm like, dude, you're on an award show for music, and you're trashing the music.
it was his truth, man. He was speaking his truth in that moment.
I appreciate that.
I mean, you don't have to agree with it. You just, it is what it is.
Did you guys see the Eddie Van Halen tribute? People were kind of pissed off.
Garbage.
No, but they only gave Eddie I guess 10 seconds. They didn't even do anything. Like they showed his guitar, his Frankenstein guitar, and then a couple clips of him, and then that was it. And people were complaining that rock music isn't, obviously relevant anymore. So who cares?
It's dead. Yeah.
It's just not recognized by the Grammys. There's something.
No, but it's sad because if you go back 20 years ago.
Music ebbs and flows, man.
Does anybody actually really get? We'll get into this actually. You know what? I'll just jump to it right now. Where is it?
I don't choose the music I listen to based on the awards it has won.
Either way, the ratings to a record low. They had something like 7.9 million viewers this year, which you go, wow, hey, that's good, right?
That sounds like a lot.
Batwoman gets 300,000. Right? But no, last year they had 18.7.
Oh.
And the year before they had 19.9. So they lost about 11 million this year. And, you can see why. First of all, the whole thing's on stupid Zoom, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which people have had enough of. Enough with the Zoom. And second, I got to be honest. I mean, I'm going to sound like get off my lawn old guy right now. Where's my shotgun?
You just gotta, shake your fist. You kids, get off my lawn.
The music is garbage these days. Like it is.
Oh, I disagree. I think we've got some great music right now.
My gym today.
Amazing music.
I just wanted to blow my head off.
Oh, there's some good music right now. I disagree.
I beg to differ.
So much good music.
I don't hear it. Ugh.
I hear it.
So
it's let's just say pop music.
You gotta widen your horizon, maybe.
Yeah, but the problem is a lot of pop music now isn't generated in the studio anymore. It's generated in somebody's bedroom.
It doesn't even have song structure.
It doesn't have any song structure. Right.
I don't know what you're talking about. Nothing I listen to is like that. So.
Oh.
But the biggest complaint, and if you watch the Beto, anybody watch Beto's YouTube channel?
No.
Beato.
Oh, Rick
Beato.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Beato. Yes, and he listens to pop music modern day, and he gets into it.
Well, like what's like what I don't even know. Like what's pop music? Taylor Swift?
Like
no, I know where you're going with this, Jude. Go ahead.
Well, he just basically, because he's been doing this for a long time, and his channel's huge. But he does. I don't know if is he a studio recorder? Has he done anything?
Producer.
Big?
He's a producer.
Has he been a producer in any big albums though, or has he just been kind of a well-known name? But he actually is from the old school, and he listens to pop music and sort of critiques it and says, "Okay, I like what they did here, and I like what they do there." And he makes an effort to get into it, but it's still at the end of the day, it's not the same, because when you went to a studio as a band back in the day, there was no secret, like it wasn't perfect. Okay, today's music, everything's just generated in a computer. So the big complaint is that there's no, it's a lost art.
I don't know, Anderson .Paak, like he sings and raps and does all this stuff, and there's real instruments in there, and he playing the drums while he's doing his thing. It's layered and it's full and it's legit.
I think the problem is the cost of going into a studio is so expensive that's why people are cutting corners and doing
albums aren't made in studios anymore. They're made in somebody's room or living room.
Mm-hmm.
That's just the way it is.
I saw one where he played the top 10, whatever the top 10 Billboard songs were, and he had his guitar, and he figured out the tempo, the structure, the chords, everything in seconds on each one, and he deduced at one point that like 7 of them were the exact same song. Like the arrangement, everything were the exact same. And he's like, this is the problem.
I'd be curious to see what songs look like and who the artists are.
Whatever they were, it was like.
And the song of the year is Setting Number 4.
Whatever it was over the summer, and he just sat there and like in real time, and he figured them out, and he was like, oh yeah, I got what they're doing here. And
there's a formula.
He tore them apart how formulaic they are. Yeah.
You should check out his channel, Stacey. You would like it.
Yeah.
And he's really good. I don't know how he does it, but he'll do a whole series on why this song is so popular or what makes this song so good.
That doesn't interest me.
No, but it's interesting.
I like listen to music for it fills me up. It's a psychological thing for me. It's a feeling thing for me. And if it either speaks to me or it doesn't, I don't need someone breaking it down and trying to tell me why it's good or why it sucks. Like,
okay.
It's
you like what you like.
Exactly.
You like what you like. Right.
Exactly. And I'm open to listening to lots of different things and to find out different things that I like.
I don't know what they're playing at my gym, but it really it's I make me want to club baby seals. I'm like, how is this even fucking music?
That's how country music makes me feel.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Country music is probably the most formulaic music out there.
I like
old country. I'm not talking old school. Old school stuff. I like southern rock, southern.
Yeah.
There's southern folk, but it's that country it's the same song. It's one long song, and they're talking about their truck, their horse, beer, whiskey, or their women. I don't want to hear it.
Wow, that pretty much rules everything.
That's all the country songs.
I just
There is a song about a red Solo cup.
Oh yeah,
I've heard that.
The Ride a Cowboy Horse song just makes me want to kick someone in the throat. And people love it. People love that.
Be careful with the red Solo cup. Don't put Gorilla Glue on it and try to drink it.
You can do a lot of things.
Wow, Gorilla Glue, that's fake news.
I like the other colors of the Solo cups anyways. You know, if you're having a party, you want the multicolors.
Yeah.
Who needs red?
Because then you don't drink out of then you all get the coupe, right? If you drink out of the same
cup. Right, you can know which one's yours if you have different colors.
Matthew McConaughey would not like what you said, Stacey.
But I
wouldn't be a fan.
I also think
wouldn't be a fan at all.
Some of my favorite musicians right now are from Texas, so it's all good.
Texas, actually, Austin has a huge music scene, and
Austin
is very diverse.
Gary Clark Jr. is from Austin,
That's
and
right.
Leon
Austin
Bridges is from Fort Worth, and
Yep.
Karang Bin's from Houston. So
if you go to Austin, I heard it's a huge music community down there.
It is. Austin's great.
South by
different music
Southwest
styles.
Yeah.
Who picked this story up?
I don't know. Not totally.
Edson, maybe.
Maybe.
It showed up in the calendar. This is interesting. So this book here gets pulled from Amazon, and it's not what you would think.
Everyone poops.
No, it's not everyone poops. It's When Harry Became Sally, responding to the transgender moment.
Interesting.
Something you think they'd promote.
Yeah.
I don't know. What are Amazon's politics? I don't know.
But the author says, I hope you've already bought your copy because Amazon just removed my book. When Harry
Maybe it's terrible. Is that possible?
I don't know.
It's not a good book.
His other books are still there, but they pulled that one.
There you go. Maybe it's terrible.
Did they give him a reason? Or
Well, I
did
mean,
they...
you know, you don't. I mean, do you pull a book because it's
Maybe it's not selling. Maybe it's
Maybe.
not sold any copies.
No,
I
it's...
don't know.
Oh, my book
don't
is
know.
up there, and then I'm the only one who's bought it.
We found
Yeah,
the
me
guilty
too.
party. We found the guilty party.
Is Edson coming in?
You'd think there'd
in?
be an explanation to, you know.
So if he comes in, he can cover this story.
Well, let's see. The people who did read the book discovered that it was an accurate and accessible presentation of the scientific, medical, and philosophical and legal debates surrounding the trans phenomenon, Anderson wrote. Yes, it advances an argument against transgender ideology from a viewpoint, but it doesn't get any facts wrong, and it doesn't engage in heated rhetoric.
Okay.
Good, because there's too much heated rhetoric.
Mm-hmm.
Moreover, it was praised by experts, the former psychiatrist in chief at Johns Hopkins Hospital.
Oh, it's a bestseller. He
Psychology
said.
professor at NYU, a professor of medical ethics at Columbia Medical School, a professor of psychological and brain sciences at BU, a professor of neurobiology at the University of Utah, and a distinguished professor at the Harvard Law School, an eminent legal philosopher at Oxford, and a professor of jurisprudence at Princeton.
But that's great. What is all it is? But what made it?
The company has given no reason to Anderson why his book is considered to be in any case in any of these categories. Oh, so here's the categories. Okay. Amazon publishing guidelines include we don't sell certain content, including content we determine is hate speech,
Mm-hmm.
abuse, or sexual exploitation of children, contains
Good.
pornography, glorifies rape or things with minors, advocates terrorism, or other material we deem inappropriate or offensive.
Okay.
So the company has given no reason to Anderson why his book has been considered to be in any of these categories after 3 years. However, a few months ago, Amazon added hate speech to its book selling guidelines, which previously did not contain that criterion.
Yeah, but.
But he said
Weird.
there's no hateful rhetoric in this book. I don't know.
It's a mystery. Maybe it was a mistake.
As a result, Amazon
It
did not
was a
regard it
mistake.
as a broad seller.
somebody just at the Amazon headquarters. Oops, spill my coffee.
Maybe the
Oops.
one right below it on the list of books was really.
They
one
meant to
that
upload
like...
Tom and Jerry, but
Yeah.
they canceled this book instead.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe it was somebody at Amazon who's had
Yeah,
it
like a vindictive person. I know this motherfucker. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, who knows? Who knows? So, kind of strange. Thanks, Edson, for sharing that. We'll just hop right over to this. So, before we came on, I was watching Lorena's channel, and she had Cameron Pasha on, our good friend Cameron.
Good man, good man.
He talked about Stephanie Janisek sent this article to him. And when he mentioned it, I went and found it. Very interesting. March 11th, which was, when was that? 5 days ago.
5 days ago, yep.
So, hang on. Monday, Sunday, Saturday, Friday, Thursday. I literally have to do that, gang. Disney's firing of Gina Carano is confusing and hypocritical, lacking sound management. So, this is interesting because they just basically go on to they cover the story we all know very well. I don't really see Disney as characterizing itself as left-leaning, right-leaning. Bob, what'd you call him, Stacy? Bob Paycheck?
That sound like you were saying.
Bob Paycheck.
Bob Paycheck. Bob Paycheck. Bob Paycheck.
Heaping all kinds of praise on Kathleen Kennedy. Meanwhile, shooting Milan next to a bunch of internment camps and yada yada yada. All the stuff we've talked about. All the hypocrisy that Disney has stacked up on one side to go after one woman on this side who had an opinion different from theirs. So what I find interesting and what Cameron was talking about is that Forbes is generally a magazine or it's a press entity that's aimed at rich people who invest in things, right? People who are shareholders. I think this is a bit of a telling thing to me, because they're basically calling out Disney for poor management. In fact, look at this. We can disagree as to whether Disney is justified or not in firing Gina, but one thing is clear: Disney's management of its social responsibility persona is woefully flawed.
Damn.
That's not good. That does not reflect well at all, and it's aimed at a certain kind of crowd who can make other kind of influential decisions, if you know what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
So that said, I go back to my lone theory that, we know Kathleen Kennedy supposedly extended. We know that Bob Chapek's praising her sideways. For me, Bob, you okay? Stacy, are you all right?
Is she coughing to death?
Well, she's muted, but she's laughing and coughing. The Bob Paycheck.
Ooh.
I love that. Bob Paycheck. How come nobody's ever thought of that? Brilliant, Stacy. Bob Paycheck is praising her up, down, and sideways. And for me, I said, I took a step back last week because, like we were talking about, he's at an investors conference, or he's on a shareholders call. What's he going to say, right? He's got to say, he can't say, it's a freaking shit show at Lucasfilm. He can't say that, right?
Right.
But you can make a statement and then you can embellish. And he went so far beyond calling her a genius and, it's in good hands and we're going to have her here for years. And all. It made me think, as a Yankees fan, of George Steinbrenner. And George Steinbrenner would say that shit about almost every manager, and Billy Martin being the most notorious, over and over. And anytime George Steinbrenner would come out and say, Billy's doing a great job, he's got my utmost confidence, Billy was gone not long after that.
Interesting theory.
George Steinbrenner did that a million times. See, how many managers he fired? 26, something like that. And always said they have his confidence, they're doing a great job, and then they got whacked. You almost wanted them to say they're doing a shitty job.
Yeah.
So it's interesting because Cameron on Lorena's stream today basically said the same thing. He thinks the exact same thing. He thinks that when you embellish that much praise, it means her head's going to roll, and it's going to roll.
Let's hope.
We shall see.
We shall see. But, and he thinks that this is the first shot fired in that direction, that when Forbes comes out and makes a statement like attacking Disney's bad management, that's really interesting. That's, especially because most of the trade, Forbes is not a trade, so it's not there to protect the studios and protect the industry. It's a financial outlet.
They've dabbled into pop culture quite a bit.
Lately they have.
I see a lot of articles from them, actually. I read actually a lot of their articles.
But the ones they do are kind of along the same lines as the trades.
Okay.
To come out and criticize the management at Disney.
Yeah. It's interesting.
Over how they handled this Gina Carano thing is really, really interesting.
Did they ever really disclose professionally the reasons why they fired her, or is it just sort of this nebulous thing?
It's Kathleen Kennedy wanted her gone.
Right. No, I know that, but normally you have to have a formal
There was a statement by an anonymous Lucasfilm employee. Basically said that what she did was abhorrent. And that they didn't agree with it.
Elaborate from there.
Yeah, it was basically she's abhorrent. Made comments we don't agree with, and we have no plans of hiring her again in the future.
Lucasfilm / Disney has still not attached an official person to who did this.
That's right. That's what I was going with this.
Yeah.
There's no really formality about it. It's like one day you're just like, you're out of work. Goodbye.
Yeah, but she had talked about it before, where they wanted a very specifically written apology, which she refused to do it the way they did. She did say something, and so I think there were times that maybe she was warned about certain things, in their eyes she continued to do the things that they didn't want her to do.
What they did, she said she wrote this giant thing, and they kept coming in and crossing stuff out. And she said by the time they were done, it was down to 2 words.
Well, originally I read it. I was reading an article that said that there was one time, it was the transphobe accusation, where they had come to her with it specifically, and she was like, "I'm not doing that. I'm going to do it my own way."
No. Did you watch her interview with Ben Shapiro? No. Okay. You should.
It's worth a watch.
If I have to hear that guy talk, I'm not watching it.
See, that's
I know. I got through it.
Not to watch it. I got through it too. But what she did is she wrote a giant apology.
Mhm.
And they came in and crossed.
Yeah,
kept
that's
editing it, and
shenanigans.
they got it down to like 2 words. She said it was like there was nothing left of it.
That's stupid.
And they said read this instead, and they handed her
Right.
one of their corporate bullshit
Mhm.
things. She goes,
Yeah, and she's
no, I want to apologize in my
Right.
words to these people.
That's fair. I think that's
and
fair.
they said to her, "You're too emotional." Or no, they said you're too logical. We don't want you to be logical. We want you to be emotional. And she said, then she goes, then let me sit down with them instead. And then they said, you know what we want you to do? Then they did the communist Maoist tactic where they wanted her to go to a
Committee
session.
Like a
Struggle
sensitivity
session where
committee.
she sits there and takes abuse from 40.
That's right. Like a committee.
That's right out of the Mao playbook.
Yeah.
So
It's like they wanted to do
they're just scum.
They wanted to do a Zoom meeting with her in it with a committee of people.
Where she couldn't talk.
Right. It was like a spotlight right on her.
That's strange.
They shame you into saying what.
Shame you into submission.
Look up struggle sessions Maoist China.
Yeah.
It's basically it's re-education.
Yeah.
Through shame and public humiliation.
So basically, we're just saying though she wasn't just fired off the cuff. Like there was something leading up to it. They
were waiting for her.
Of course, right. I mean, that's obvious.
Kathleen
I'm just
Kennedy.
saying, it's not like it came out of nowhere.
Well, Kathleen Kennedy, who sits there on her altar at Lucasfilm and wants strong women, gets one and gets rid of her.
That's exactly
the rest
what I
of
was
the women at
thinking.
Lucasfilm are not strong women. They are sitting there, licking her ass.
It's a very good point.
Whatever she tells them to do. They're
Right.
NPCs. They have no mind of their own.
I need to be the head lioness, but I like strong women. But don't be stronger than me.
Of course. I mean, I don't think I'm not arguing with that at all. I mean, I think that was, smart of her. I wouldn't just read some bullshit that they handed you. Why would you do that?
Shocking when that interview was shocking what they put her through.
Yeah, it's like Mommy Dearest or something.
So weird.
And they're not done. They're coming out.
I'm your Mommy
Also,
Dearest.
she should be happy that she's not working for a
She is.
company like that. That's I mean,
Now
I'm
she's
sure
gonna-
she'll find work doing other things like
She
other,
already did. She got a contract with
Yeah, so
Daily Wire. Now she's going to produce her own independent films.
yeah, so that's good for her.
Yeah.
So meanwhile, I think Mando's doomed. I think
so too. I think we've seen the last of him.
This is a calculated attack by Kathleen Kennedy. Kathleen Kennedy is furious. Make no mistake about this, because Jon Favreau comes in and basically completely blows her out of the water with a TV show. She puts 5 movies out. Three is part of a trilogy that each one, fails more than the next. I don't know how to put that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that was good.
Like Solo's losing money.
Yeah, it's just a downward spiral of shit.
Right, it's a downward spiral of shit. He comes in with his little TV show, and his characters are selling toys like crazy. Everyone's talking about it. He brings back Luke Skywalker, the Patriarch, which totally fucking pissed her off, right? Because no one likes Rey, no one likes Rose Tico, no one liked Admiral Hoth. Nobody likes any of these characters, but they love Din Djarin, and they love the Child, and they love Cara Dune, and they love Grief Karga, and they love all these other characters. No one buys any of the toys from the sequel trilogy. No one. But these things you can't find these toys. These Mandalorian toys.
It's the difference between a writer and a hack. And
So,
guess who?
Part of Gina's interview, she talked about how Jon Favreau called her out of nowhere. Didn't even go through her agent. Called her up and said, "I want to take you out to dinner. I have a project for you." And told her at dinner that he wrote Cara Dune for her. And he really wanted her to be that character. That's how she ended up in the thing. So I'm telling you, this is a systematic attack to get rid of Jon Favreau to walk out the door. She got rid of a character that he handpicked Gina Carano, and he wrote that part for her. Go on. And he's pissed. Make no mistake about it. He's pissed. So now you get this little leak this week. 2 Mandalorian books canceled by 2 different Star Wars publishers a minute apart. 2 upcoming Mandalorian books from 2 different Star Wars publishers announced the books have been canceled just a minute apart. On March 9th, DK Books US announced they were no longer publishing the Mandalorian Ultimate Visual Guide, which those are awesome. Those are like art coffee table books with all the concept art and all that stuff in it. Those are great. That bums me out because I probably would have bought that. They wrote on Twitter, due to the ever-expanding world of The Mandalorian, we'll no longer be publishing the Mandalorian Ultimate Visual Guide at this time as the story continues to unfold on screen. Right. That makes perfect sense. Not. The book is still listed on their website, and details originally supposed to be published on July 6th. And then the other book, a minute after DK Books US made their announcement, The Mandalorian, the Ultimate Visual Guide would no longer be published. Del Rey Books announced that their previously announced Mandalorian original novel would not be published. They wrote on Twitter, due to the ever-expanding world of... Sounds awfully familiar, doesn't it? Mandalorian, we will no longer be publishing the Mandalorian original novel this time as the story continues to unfold on screen. Huh. That's interesting that two companies would put the same statement out at the same time. Like they were handed one to deliver by somebody at Lucasfilm Story Group.
Rogue One wasn't terrible.
I liked Rogue One.
Rogue One. Was,
Rogue One was the best of the Disney stuff.
Right. It was just very Lucas-y acted, meaning that a lot of the characters were super stiff, and that was the only problem with it. I felt like it was like their first. They didn't even do like takes. It was like take, like they just were so wooden.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it has one of the most badass Darth Vader scenes in all of Star Wars.
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
And the movie was good. It was written well. I just think the character, the acting was just so wooden.
Oh,
it
was. Well, the characters weren't interesting because
but
I think when you're crafting a story like that and you know they're all disposable to begin with,
right?
You know, like you don't need to give them compelling backstories or anything because they're just there to do it. They're there to do one thing: steal the plans of the Death Star and die. So, and they did that. Mission accomplished. The fact that they're going to make a spin-off series with that, what's his name? Cassian Andor.
And his character's not even that good.
That's what I'm saying.
His character is
apparently
boring.
George Lucas wrote a couple of the episodes for it, though.
Yeah. He's not. He's just a boring character.
Oh, here's the next one. Apparently, they've called her in and told her she's on notice. Doing nothing.
She's not doing any ongoing thing. Like I don't understand.
Yes, she is.
No, I mean ongoing, like disruptive or negative.
No, that's what I'm saying.
You know, what? Like, be careful with what? Like,
well, don't forget. You know, she was she's in that controversy over assaulting a transgender.
no, I know it was a family friend that worked for them. Like it just makes it's one
because this is part of the systematic. Yeah. This is the systematic dismantling of this show. So Jon Favreau quits. I'm telling you.
Right. Yeah.
Kathleen wants him gone. She will be next. And probably Carl Weathers. Bill Burr might have sealed his fate this weekend.
Yeah, I think he's done.
Yeah, because they didn't know what they were getting with him.
Right. Well, don't forget, Jon Favreau made all those decisions.
Right. If that's the the goal is to.
I think Kennedy's totally pulling rank now.
Well, we'll see, right?
Yeah, I think Kennedy's totally pulling rank. She's going to slowly take this thing apart. And taking the books down is really interesting because she's trying to keep it from expanding. You don't want the lore to expand because if the lore expands and you get more people aboard, it's going to be hard to dismantle this thing. So you have to clean it. You bring in the merchandising, you wrangle it all in, you keep it small, you knock off a few more of these popular actors. He's going to walk. I predict that he walks as soon as he's done with the Boba Fett show. As soon as post-production's over on the Boba Fett show, he's going to announce he's done. There will be no Mando season 3.
I think she wants the mythology to expand, but only her way.
Correct.
So it is her way.
Exactly.
Or the highway.
Correct.
Yeah.
She very famously said last summer, "If I don't get my way, I will burn this whole silly thing to the ground."
Oh, she said that. Wow.
Yes, she did.
And there were people in the room when she did it. She throws tantrums. She's like a high school mean girl. She really is. So as silly as this might seem, as outlandish as it sounds, that she's going after this show to get rid of Jon Favreau, I'm almost convinced it's in the works.
She's just jelly because he made it successful again. He made Star Wars something.
That's exactly it. That's exactly it. Like she gave the world a strong woman, and the world said no, we're not accepting it. But then Gina Carano's character comes in, and everybody loved that one. They loved a strong woman, just not hers.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah. I'm with you, Explorer. Jon Favreau has enough FU money to go do whatever the hell he wants. He could quit tomorrow and he'll get a DC movie like that or another. He call his buddy Kevin Feige. Call Kevin Feige and say, "Dude, I want to do a Marvel movie."
Well, yeah, they're doing all that stuff on HBO Max. They have
we don't want him to quit because he's brought fresh air into Star Wars for the first time in in
Yeah,
2
and now she's
decades.
trying to suck that air right out of the room.
Yeah, it's too bad.
Right. Well, I mean, Obi-Wan's dropping pretty soon, right? Is that that's their next installment, right?
Yeah, but the thing is, how much did Kennedy have to do with that?
We're gonna find out.
Yeah, I mean, it's everybody's excited for Obi-Wan. I'm like, I don't know.
It's only 6 episodes anyway. It's not like it's
And
it's not even an ongoing thing. It's just
And who's writing this again, or who's being involved in this with Obi-Wan?
I don't remember.
I mean,
I if you just look at how this all started. So Luke Skywalker shows up on December the 18th or 20th, somewhere around there, right?
Yep.
And right after that, the systematic attacks, what's his name? Hidalgo attacks Star Wars theory, and then like all this stuff starts to slowly, all the goodwill that they created in that one night was like lost within days. And here we are a couple months later, and look where we are. Look what they've done. They're burning their own house down.
They're burning all the silliness to the ground, and I'm sure if she is on her way out, she's it's completely shameless about destroying everything. She's already said so.
Yeah, it's she'll throw a match and watch it burn out from the outside.
Maybe she is on her way out, and she is burning everything.
She could be.
She knows that she's not being. She's like, all right, get rid of me, and I'll destroy the $1 billion franchise that you bought.
Either way, I've never seen a more dysfunctional production.
well, it's something's got to hit the fan. I mean, it can't stay like this forever. So I'm crossing my fingers. That's why I didn't care about Obi-Wan, but now I'm more interested to see if this one does the same thing as Mandalorian. It outplays anything that she can do.
It's a 6-episode, one-off. It's not.
But still, it still could be captivating. It still could really.
It could be. I mean, it also on the same on the other side of the coin. It could also be somebody berating Obi-Wan into telling him what sort of a simp he is, and yes, okay, you're right,
right.
I'm awful.
When McGregor's in it, so that's a huge thing.
Either way, it doesn't have legs. It's not something that they can like mass market and carry on. You know what I mean? It's just going to tell this little story in this small amount of time. In the timeline, just to fill this little hole. Yeah. So it's not like Mandalorian, which is ongoing, and you're looking forward to the season, and you're bringing in your world building, and you're bringing in other characters. Right. It's not going to happen.
Well, with Obi-Wan, we already know we don't really need the world build, but because
obviously,
obviously, it's just between 2 periods of time, right? I mean, we know what happens.
Right.
Post and pre.
Right. Just kind of one of those things where they're going to fill in details we don't really care about. But.
We know he becomes a hermit, so it'll probably just tell the story of how he became the hermit.
Right.
I don't know.
There's definitely a lot of potential there, and
there's going to be a lot of
she doesn't have her meat hooks on it, which I'm sure she will.
It might be like Rogue One-ish. Like Rogue One served the same idea, right?
Yeah.
We know where it's going to end up, just like it's showing what happened. So, which is just serviceable popcorn entertainment. But it's not like, Mandalorian was on its way to doing something bigger and better. And it just got cut. I think it's going to get cut out at the knees. And even if it does survive without Jon Favreau in charge, and it already will be very, very different because the Grogu saga is over. So even if it does survive, and even if somehow Favreau does see through season 3, it's going to be a completely different show in a way, because now it's just going to be the retaking of Mandalore, right? So
yeah,
well, they have a lot to work with because a lot of those characters now can be spin-offs. They
already are going to be spin-offs. They
introduced so much. So,
but that's the thing. You get rid of Rosario Dawson, there goes your Ahsoka show.
Yeah, that stinks.
Yeah.
So again,
I was looking forward to that. Yeah,
you gotta look at this. The Gina Carano show is already gone now.
Mm-hmm.
The Rangers of the New Republic, that's one of his. That's a Favreau gone, right?
Yep.
Well, if you go on,
get rid of Rosario Dawson, Ahsoka gone.
Yeah.
She's chipping away at Jon Favreau. Jon Favreau wants to tell stories in the period between Return of the Jedi and The Force Awakens, right? That's
if you
where
go to
his stories, and
she's
slowly
IMDb,
dismantling that.
Right. If you go on his IMDb, it's all announced. There's no recording. So the Rangers of the New Republic, Jungle Book 2, which is Disney, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Ahsoka, those are announced, but they're not
Yeah, they were all announced.
Yeah, they're all announced.
So they haven't put anything in the can yet.
No,
videos.
You can announce till the
film has been
cows
shot.
come home.
Yeah, how many times have they announced Star Trek 4?
Right. They've announced you can announce whatever you want.
Right.
That doesn't mean it's ever going to see the light of day.
Right. Which is funny.
They did that at the investor. You know, she came out and announced all that shit at the investors conference. And Pete, remember, you watched that when she did that, right?
Oh yeah.
Remember how soulless she looked? Like she looked like she didn't even want to be there. Remember, she was like,
And she also said, let's not forget, what could possibly go wrong?
What could possibly go wrong? Right. Right.
I'm surprised he's doing the Jungle Book.
She was lifeless because it was all these Jon Favreau shows, right?
That's right.
So yeah, you're correct, Mr. Lundell. He was keeping an eye on Luke, as we found out retroactively, of course.
So
Yeah, I wonder.
he's doing a lot of stuff for Disney, though. I mean, it shows on IMDb that he is, so he's not really going anywhere else. But you never know. I mean, he could be showing the door.
That could change tomorrow. They won't fire
I
him.
think
he'll walk.
I think one day we're going to get a tell-all. We're going to get like somebody's going to write a tell-all of what went on between Favreau and
absolutely.
Kennedy. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Something.
We'll get the
a lot of these sources that work at Lucasfilm, that are on other streams, are always saying like, it's a shit show in there, and she's losing her mind.
Like a whistleblower,
screaming at people, and
and
and again, and I'm not going to speak for him, but Jay has told me stories in the past about things like that, so I'm not surprised to hear that. It falls perfectly in line with what I've heard. And we got to get him on. He's moving to a new home in Vermont, so as soon as he's settled,
hopefully with better internet.
Right. So Disney shelves an episode of Running Wild with Bear
Grylls.
Yeah, Bear Grylls.
Featuring Gina. And they had announced it and they were promoting it, and then they suddenly pulled it. And they've been featuring a lot of their other actors, like Anthony Mackie and
Mr. Mackie,
Danny Trejo, and Gina Carano. And I remember when she taped it, because she posted that tweet. I remember seeing that tweet when she was up there at Big Bear. That sucks. So they're doing anything they can to just make her go away. And Funko got rid of her Funko Pop last week.
What? Come on.
Yep.
That's where it hits at home too. When you get rid of a freaking action figure. I mean, think about it this way: they're still producing action figures from films from the 19th.
From
Empire Strikes Back, from Return of the
making
Jedi.
them more worth more money.
Right? It's stupid.
These toy companies, they don't want to do it. They're being
right. Of course they don't. They're made to. I'm sure some licensing agreement.
Keep up with the backstock on these things, and they're being told to stop. That's Geode. Geode will be a much better.
Oh, that figure.
I don't think though that you with especially with merchandising, you could just eliminate a character. I mean, that's just being a poor loser at this point. You're just being sore.
Oh yeah.
You're just so sore and cranky and just bitch.
Well, they probably would have to give her proceeds, right? Like anything with her likeness.
Exactly.
They don't want to have to give it to her. I would think that's the reason.
It's so exactly the reason. Stupid. She did her job. If you do your job, you can deserve an action figure.
That's their corporate rationale.
You can't take someone's trophy away because all of a sudden you decide to cancel them.
But
I'm taking your Super Bowl ring because we've decided to cancel you.
Yeah.
Like it's not.
Why not?
No.
It's stupid.
It's dumb.
Yeah. We're not.
Yeah, how long before they actually try to edit her out of the episodes?
That's
that'd be weird.
What? For what? Because of it's just so stupid.
Yeah,
you've already been paid for those, right? No.
Funny you bring that up, Pete. I should have pulled that story. Maybe I can find it while we're bantering at some point. But Ruby Rose, have you heard that about Ruby Rose?
Yep, I saw that.
Ruby Rose.
They took her out of the lineup.
They took her crisis. They just digitally wiped her out.
It's like all of a sudden they reprint your yearbook and they take you out of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like erase you from history,
Yeah.
It's so stupid. It's just so dumb.
These are the times we live in, my friend.
Here's the thing: she did a job, and a lot of people didn't like her acting, which I didn't. I liked her acting, and that's all that matters. As long as you got paid to do your job, that's it.
Not the best actress, but come on, she's a.
I didn't care.
I did not watch it for like the higher level.
Yeah.
Acting. It was fun. It was fun and entertaining, and
that's it.
The story moved along, and that's all I care about.
It's Star Wars, so big tech is still on there doing their thing to eliminate her from the public consciousness too. So Gina posted this the other day. 3:48 p.m. 2,738 likes. 4:05 p.m., which is what 20 minutes later, about 467. And it didn't stop there. Did it again. 6:40 p.m., 2151.
And what are we without our likes? I mean, really.
649, 527. But that's I know it's just stupid social currency, but that's big tech just messing with shit. You know what I mean?
There's, what's really funny is there's so many people in Hollywood that have done super creepy, crazy stuff.
Yeah.
But yet, people are still going to go to a Roman Polanski movie. Okay. Right?
Yeah, Woody Allen is still finding work.
Midnight in Paris is one of my favorites.
He posts something online and she's like completely ousted. It's so stupid. Yeah, I know, but
I know.
Again, how creepy. Like, come on.
Because
it's not the level of creep or even at the level of offense. It's the corporation that dictates these things. So it's like you know what I mean? You can't compare really. That it's not about offense. It's about who's in charge of that.
It's personal politics.
If you go back to her interview with Ben Shapiro, she talks about an email that was accidentally forwarded to her, where it was talking about how Lucasfilm was tracking the hashtag Fire Gina Carano because they were pushing the influencers to do it. So this whole thing has been orchestrated from Kathleen Kennedy's desk. The whole thing.
It's a corporate agenda.
It's a corporate agenda.
And she's setting it, and Kathleen Kennedy happens to be the one setting at this point.
It's not her character. It makes her look bad.
So what you're trying
she has an ego that's too huge.
So you're trying to say if you make enough online noise about somebody, you can get canceled.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but especially when it's
depends who you're canceling them from. Who's canceling them?
When she's
the corporation that decides.
When she's the one putting those people online up to doing it and kind of collecting so she can justify it with like, look at the outrage. But she's the one.
So it's not the outrage as much as it is her agenda. And she's just using that outrage as the fuel to, flame,
she dispatched the mob.
Yeah. That's what I mean. It becomes almost infectious. Once you start it, it becomes out of control, like a wildfire, like a computer virus. Everybody starts going at it. But at that point, it's just a bad rumor. It's just trying to tarnish somebody on a rumor.
Yeah, but
even though this might not.
It's an agenda. They're trying to.
Right. It's an agenda.
It's a cause and effect. They want.
It's mob mentality.
Right.
Rumor or not, mob says cancel this person. Therefore, it's going to happen.
Right. You know, like Robert.
Mob mentality is very infectious too. It's like an avalanche.
Well, they wanted it to happen. Like they're stoking the fire. Yeah, but that makes sense. That makes sense.
But it's like a high school rumor. Like there's rumors to this day. There's certain people in high school who I talked to later in life that I said, "Oh, you were that person in high school that everybody said pissed in their pants," and he's like, "That never happened," but everybody just said it happened.
Right. There was always a kid. There was one of those two. But, I ended up playing softball with a kid that was rumored that he pissed his pants every day. He didn't. But I lost my. Oh, yeah.
Robert Meyer
Burnett brought up a great point. And this is what's sick about this. And when you just casually fire someone and you get the mob angry and they get rid of these people, but you don't know. Like he said, what if she's taking care of a sick mother? And the income from the Mandalorian is paying the medical. And now you're gonna by proxy, you might cost her mother her life.
Right. Over what?
You don't know what's going on in her life.
Well,
beyond the fact that she's on TV.
Wasn't there somebody was drunk 3PO was selling T-shirts?
Yes, drunk 3PO.
And was selling hello.
Wax on, wax off. Wax on.
They were selling T-shirts, and then the mob went after him and got that whole site bumped down, and he was going to give all the proceeds to charity.
He was giving the money to a food bank.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, Drunk 3PO Jay is probably the most charitable human being in the fandom. He's always raising money for charities, constantly. And that's what happened. Because he protected Gina. Him and Gina have a relationship. She went on his channel, and he's been protecting her. And so the mob went after him, and they found out he's selling his drunk 3PO merchandise, and it's got C-3PO holding a beer mug, and they got him struck for copyright, the character. So they took his T-shirt store down, and he said, sad part was all that money's going to a food bank. So way to go, cancel culture.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, they don't.
If you don't understand. Like, why don't you do a little research? Why don't you find out about these people before you just go and blindly attack them?
That would take effort.
That's the thing, Mr. Londell. It's not very big. They're just very loud. And here's what they do. This is their modus operandi. Because now that our channel is starting to grow, I'm dealing with these people now. This is what happens, right? And it's not a lot, but when it does, the first thing I do, especially on Twitter, is I hover over their account, and the little thing pops up, and it tells you how many followers they have, and it's always 2 or 4 or 8.
Mm-hmm.
They're small. They're sock puppet accounts, right?
Mm-hmm.
So these people are creating 5, 10, 20 accounts, and they just sit there all day.
Yep.
And they type the same shit on all of them.
They want their attention. They want attention.
And putting out their hashtag and putting it out and putting it out. What you can't do is engage with them. As soon as I see that they're small, I don't bother. Done. Bye-bye. I don't even bother. Sometimes I'll hit reply and put sock puppet because I know what they're doing. But I will not engage in an argument with them. I remember last spring, Pete, I got in an argument with somebody. I mistakenly hit reply and said, put facts into my reply. And the kid just kept coming at me and coming at me and coming at me, coming at me and coming at me.
That's what they're looking for.
That's what they're looking for. And that was my rookie mistake, because then I looked and he had 12 followers, and I was arguing with the guy for 3 hours.
Yeah.
Off and on. I'd walk away and come back and oh, again. And I keep putting facts no, but here's the actual
irrelevant.
It didn't matter. And he's
Toddlers.
no, and he was just calling me a hater and a racist and all this kind of shit. And it was like, what does that have to do with what has nothing to do with what we're talking about here?
Nope.
Toddlers looking for attention.
They're just looking maybe my obnoxious tweet will go viral, and then I'll be famous for 5 minutes.
Yeah, it is.
That's all it is. Yeah, it's not.
It really is.
And unfortunately, it could be very damaging to other people.
Right. Right.
That's
exactly.
They don't care though.
Precisely. No. They don't. It's the new Andy Warhol 15 minutes of fame. It's your 15
minutes of shame.
Your trend of fame. Yeah. So
that's a lot to do.
There's not a lot of them, but they are really loud and they're really aggressive because they have time to sit there all day long and freaking do that.
Their parents
we're being productive members of society.
Right.
Explore them. Yeah, there you go.
Exactly. Don't forget about the trophies for just showing up.
Yep.
All right. Next up, this one's going to take a little time. I'm trying to get Penny Parker on our show. If anybody watching or anybody who watches the replay, if you have access to Penny Parker, I'd love to. I wrote Bleeding Fool. They haven't responded yet because there's no way to get in touch with her directly on their site. Over the summer, just a quick catch up here for people who aren't aware, Penny did this incredible expose of a comic book whisper industry. She infiltrated it.
Oh, that's what you said. Yeah.
Yep. Hang on. It reminds me of that William Shatner sketch on Saturday Night Live.
Yeah, move out of your parents' basement.
Girl, I didn't think so. Right. Move out of your parents' basement. So anyway, Penny exposed. She got into this, private Facebook group of all these comic book pros who were basically doing what the Twitter mob is doing. And it was a members only club to stain and remove people they didn't want, that they considered were gatekeeping the comic book industry. They were actually gatekeeping the comic. So she blew the lid off the whole thing, put the names out of all these people. This came out last week. The comic industry no longer has a blacklist. It has 2. So this is interesting. Second one. Blacklist number 1. This is the one she found back in 2016. It was relatively short. How do you get on it? Simple. Be openly conservative. As the country divided, comic book creators took to their battle stations, and it became clear one side had to go. Comics already being a heavily left-leaning industry, it was an easy choice. So the conservative blacklist took shape and new names were continually added. But the hedging with comic book left, which quickly became the far comic book left and then evolved into the extreme comic book left, came with unforeseen consequences. And there they are. By 2018, no more gross right-leaning garbage people were allowed to have a job in the industry. And if they slipped through, then they certainly weren't permitted to have any mainstream media coverage. Around this time, Zoe Quinn was leading her Vertigo reboot. Heather Antos was at Marvel Comics watching the gate. Chuck Wendig was writing Star Wars novels and using the brand to bolster his political base. And more social justice warrior types were flooding the industry who were light on writing experience but heavy on activism. It was sunshine and rainbows for the extreme comic book left. They'd seemingly won. After all, they'd gotten everything they wanted. Full infestation of popular cultural outlets. That shirt says it all. That shirt says it all. I should get one of those. But they had one more problem. There were still old-fashioned folks at the top of the rapidly shrinking comics industry, writers occupying coveted high-profile spots that the SJWs felt entitled to. And some of those problematic non-allies were writing books like Iron Man, X-Men, and the Batman titles. And these veteran writers weren't actually conservative or right or even centrists. No. Most of those types had already been ousted. So exactly how do you intimidate and harass writers like Scott Snyder, Colin Bunn, and Sean Murphy and force them out of those top slots you want for yourself? You can't do it publicly. No, that's too risky. You need to quietly plant seeds of discord and whisper rumors into the correct ears. And we all know no one whispers like the network. The word Comicsgate is the primary weapon for the extreme comic book left, and to help their campaign, Comicsgate and conservative became synonyms. It's true. I know people who think Comicsgate are a bunch of like alt-right weirdos, and it's like, no, it's just people like our friend Edwin, who's just trying to write fun comic books. But to target left-leaning people, this new extreme comic book left needed a few more flexible weapons in their arsenal. They knew they couldn't threaten and intimidate remaining non-woke writers with the word Comicsgate, but perhaps with enough rumor spreading, they could muddy the waters enough to make problems. They called many writers at the top of Marvel and DC Comicsgate sympathizers. They said they were CG adjacent. If they ever replied to the wrong person on Twitter or liked the wrong post, oh, and you say you denounce Comicsgate? Cute. You did it, what, 2 times? Why not 3? You know, it's that whole thing with Henry Cavill.
Mm-hmm.
Was it he was late to welcome Super?
Yeah, he didn't do it in time. Yeah.
Right. I guess you're a CG apologist then. Maybe I'll drop your editor an email and let him know. The extremists started casting a wide net using their new rumor campaign strategy, both online and offline, but their mission to take food off tables backfired. List number 2, the one you've never heard of. This is awesome. This is awesome. Late 2018 saw an implosion of that Whisper network. Heather Antos suddenly and surprisingly departed for an esports betting website. Chuck Wendig exited Marvel Comics under controversial circumstances. Both parties continue to do damage control to this day. But were these events which took place in 2018 unrelated, or is there a link? A link not only to backstage bullies and rumor spreaders like Chuck and Heather, but to other key players within the Whisper network. Was there a hidden connection between Zoe Quinn, Gail Simone, Tess Fowler, Alex DeCampi, Stephanie Cook, along with famously unprincipled tabloid journalists like Rich Johnston of Bleeding Stool and Heidi McDonald and others? The answer is yes. Without knowing it, the creators of the original comic book blacklist triggered something without even realizing it. They'd spurred the creation of a second blacklist. Only this time, the list was aimed at them. And list number 2 is so well concealed, most of them don't even know they're on it even to this day. This gets juicy. This is really good. We got to get Penny on here. The secret Iron Man debacle of 2017, origins of blacklist number 2. I recently spoke with a longtime high-level executive at Marvel Comics who will give a gender-neutral name to protect their identity, Sam. Over the course of 2 hours, Sam treated me to incredible insight about the industry I hadn't even heard about. The most interesting topics surrounded someone groomed to write Marvel's Iron Man title, the de facto leader of the Whisper Network, Alex DeCampi. I know Alex. I'm kind of sad because I met Alex in like 2016 and she seemed like a really cool person and she writes a lot of horror comics. But boy, I see what she puts on Twitter. Yes, this is seriously being considered and was floated in a meeting of editors and publishers in 2017. The gig was almost hers, but thanks to blacklist number 2, suddenly it wasn't. There she is. The DeCampi clause is coined. One of DeCampi's allies, an executive whom she had a close relationship with, pushed this idea at Marvel. Alex DeCampi is the all-new female writer of Iron Man. The concept was to grab headlines by adding a feminist twist to the franchise with a fresh reboot and a female protagonist in the armor. And who better to write it than one of the loudest feminists on comics Twitter? But when her name was dropped on this fateful meeting, according to Sam, all hell broke loose. Bear in mind that Antos and Wendig were still at Marvel, and tensions in the office were high, Sam explained. Hateful rumors were spreading like virus. Bullying was rampant, and everyone was scared for their jobs due to the environment Chuck and Heather had fostered along with their cliques. Sounds like a Lucasfilm, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
The thought of DeCampi coming on board at Marvel Comics pushed reasonable people's sanity to the edge. Immediately, talk of getting lawyers involved started circulating behind the scenes. Everyone I spoke to was discussing options, Sam revealed. They were scared shitless. The guys and gals were already walking on eggshells, but this new edition would have been chaos. Though virtually unknown to the public, by 2017, Alex DeCampi had already spent years trying to get people fired with rumors and planting fake stories, according to Sam, especially by leveraging the infamously vicious tabloid site Bleeding Stool, a site run by her former employer and close personal friend, Rich Johnston. Like, look what Rich put in one of his articles here. DeCampi is one of the greatest living comic book writers. Shill. This is common knowledge in the industry and has been for a decade. If you're a fan who's been paying close attention, you're probably aware of all this too. A few years ago, I was enjoying a pint with a table of Marvel creators, and we spent an evening sharing horror stories of Alex's attack campaigns. Much like Antos, everyone in comics had at least one Alex tale. Mark Chiarello had a recent run-in with Alex where she vandalized his personal Facebook page with accusations of sexism and racism. Pros hilariously clapped back. She followed that up by calling her own paying customers deadbeats and whiners. Remember, we read that.
That's right.
Or she did a Kickstarter, and they were like, "Where's my book?" And she's like, "Yeah, a bunch of deadbeats. Stop whining," you know? And got roasted in her own comments section. She also used Bleeding Stool to spread a story about how she didn't believe Scott Snyder when he pledged not to abuse women and added some racial accusations on top of it. What they did to Scott Snyder, and because he's not strong enough to stand up to them, was Edson and I watched it happen, and almost in real time. It was sad.
It was really sad for him.
Bent the knee, like he bent both knees. It was horrible. He put his head between his legs and everything. The stories of her false accusations, personal attacks, and lunacy go on and on and on, but all this is just from 2020 alone. Many more of her career highlights were exhaustively outed in my Whisper Network expose, and that's a 3-part article, and I suggest if you have the time and you're curious to go read this, it's like mind-blowing because she watched all it happen. DeCampi and her network have been tearing apart careers for almost a decade, and with surprising effectiveness given her relatively low status within the industry. But the birth of the DeCampi clause brought a lot of things to perspective, and it had a ripple effect. Will not work with Alex DeCampi. What's in the clause? According to Sam, employees at Marvel didn't want to quit in protest, but if DeCampi was actually coming on board, they demanded assurances. They needed to know they could work in a safe environment without the looming danger of social terrorism constantly hanging over their heads. Without worrying they'd look at Alex the wrong way and she'd leak all their private correspondence to one of her media contacts out of spite, or vaguely accuse them of a sex crime or racial discrimination in the hope of getting them fired. So what exactly is the DeCampi clause? It's kind of creepy that like they need a safe space from someone who creates someone called Safe Space. But anyway, proposed
all this over funny books, man.
Right. Proposed amendments in their contracts, ensuring they would never have to work with Alex DeCampi or even be physically close to her at any time. You read that right.
Jesus.
This included being physically separated from her at convention appearances, too, and being in separate hotels for overnight accommodations. This was a big one. Never having to appear on the same panel with her, and making sure she was nowhere near them or their families to avoid any lies and attacks like those she's become known for. The more of Sam's friends who discussed this potential clause, the more stipulations were added. Sam exposed that DeCampi isn't dangerous because of her contacts in comics. In fact, she has very few friends who are actual legitimate creators. She's dangerous because of partisan journalists like Rich Johnston of Bleeding Stool, who are seemingly in her back pocket, and other gatekeepers in her Whisper network like Heidi McDonald, who runs the comic website Comics Beat. What fans don't realize right now, the fans don't realize how tight these fuckers are, Sam explained. DeCampi is in constant contact with corrupt bloggers who give her books glowing praise and attack her enemies. Between Heidi, Graham, McMillan, Caitlin Rosberg, and Asher Albine, They're all in the extended network. If Alex wants to fuck you over, she loops in her goons, and before you know it, you're getting smeared. It's a well-oiled machine. Ultimately, the fear of having DeCampi anywhere near Marvel Comics eventually got to be too much for many folks, and so the idea was nixed by upper management. The now infamous DeCampi clause that many privately discussed adding to their contracts was deemed to be no longer necessary, and everyone breathed a sigh of relief. Instead of Iron Man will be written by a feminist activist woman, Marvel was also able to score an even juicier headline, and everyone at Marvel was happy. Eve L. Ewing will write new Ironheart comic for Marvel Teen Genius, and superhero Riri Williams will be written by a black woman for the first time. As a sociologist of education whose research is focused on racism, Eve L. Ewing was, of course, not a comic book writer. Who's writing comic books these days who is a comic book writer? Nobody. Not at the big two. But by 2018, the big two had dispelled any notions of hiring writers based on merit alone, or even writers with fan bases, or even fiction writing experience at all. Yeah, we know, and there's stories about it tonight. But despite early skepticism, the Ewing hire turned out to be a very shrewd business decision for Marvel. The media swooned, the writing was serviceable, and it kept the company from suffering through what was poised to be a DeCampi-related HR nightmare, one that could have easily been exploded into a legal nightmare. How could DeCampi have retaliated against such a boss move? When word first got out in 2017 that employees were terrified at the notion of having to interact with a social terrorist like DeCampi, it opened the floodgates. Suddenly, everyone was whispering about the many toxic personalities within Marvel and how some of them were spending a disproportionate amount of time not creating compelling stories, but trying to figure out how to end the careers of their coworkers. And,
Mr. Londell.
Jeez.
Yes. Yes.
That was scary.
Genius moves like this from Heather Antos. People did not
Wow.
Jewish. People chose to be Republican. They choose to be a Nazi. Okay.
Jeez.
Bullying, intimidation, and rumor spreading were simply accepted before the DeCampi clause was proposed and were commonplace in the Wendig Antos era. Now this behavior is being discussed at all levels, and less than a year later, not coincidentally, Chuck and Heather made their embarrassing exits I mentioned above. The extreme comic book left is divided into two categories: the ones who are already soft blacklisted for their past and continuing antics, and the ones who will soon be blacklisted but don't know it yet. Like this one here, Crystal Frazier. She hopes J.K. Rowling has an aneurysm and do not resuscitate.
Jeez, what the hell?
How nice.
I can't wait to buy her next
nice
comic.
of her.
Oh, boy. Crystal, you're a genius. Publicly fantasizing about the death of others and launching campaigns to financially destroy companies that you have a petty grudge against used to be seen not just as unprofessional, but dangerous and malicious. Now it is commonplace and accepted and will reliably get applause on Twitter. But these actions aren't soon forgotten. Throwing a digital Molotov cocktail and watching it burn might score points with angry Twitterati mobs, but sane business owners are usually not impressed by such anarchy. Stephanie Cook. This is when she complained about Keanu Reeves when his Kickstarter to make a policy.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Yeah, and she was, by the way, accused of felony embezzlement. So, yeah. Accused of felony embezzlement, goes into hiding and locks her Twitter account, and then reopens the account. And her first order of business is to try to torturously interfere in a contract between Kickstarter and Boom Studios. How very on brand from Ms. Cook. You needn't look further than the agents of chaos and what became of their careers after they went too far with their constant attacks and online tantrums. Ask yourself, where is Zoe Quinn's new comic book series? Why isn't Andy Coury editing at DC anymore? What happened to the ever-rising star of Mags Visaggio? Where is Kelly Sue DeConnick's new book?
Yep.
But they had abysmal sales, you're probably thinking, which is true. What's also true is they're on the list. Although no one in comics is hired on talent or marketability or even numbers anymore. As mentioned above, that philosophy went by the wayside a few years ago. But take notice of how even industry bloggers who lean toward extremism are being slowly and quietly weeded out recently. And Heidi's good buddy Graham McMillan just got ousted from Hollywood Reporter. While Graham does most of the trash talking privately, it's no secret he loves to spread rumors and do as much damage as possible, says Sam. And this is confirmed according to many insiders. Not surprisingly, he's also a faithful Alex DeCampi minion. The lunatics of today, addicted to those retweets, will see their careers quietly sunsettled tomorrow. And the irony, as they laugh while trying to destroy the careers of others, they don't realize they're being covertly added to blacklist number 2, and they'll likely never be told about it. I suppose they'll know if they're reading The Bleeding Fool. So,
Wow.
You may be asking, will the pendulum ever swing back the other way? Will Marvel ever return to the Denny O'Neil classical liberal days when Chuck Dixon and Mike Barron could write for their company without being harassed or threatened? That remains to be seen, but ideally, a more neutral and centrist direction would be healthier for both employee morale and the comic book customers that the industry desperately needs to win back in the current climate. But in the meantime, Extreme Comic Book Left, aka the Whisper Network, are torching future opportunities so they can get even with their perceived enemies on Twitter. And at least in the short term, there is no sign of those folks slowing down. Too bad you can't pay rent with social media likes. Boom! Mic drop, Penny Parker.
Damn.
That is a thorough and well-written article.
Yes, it is.
Fool.
This is why you're starting to see people like Snyder and Tinian start their own publishing companies. They
right.
They want a way out to be able to produce their own content without having to deal with this bullshit.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Scott Snyder, he should have never bent to them. I mean,
that was his mistake.
He's got and you know, I can't say I know Scott. I've talked to Scott several times, but I know he's got a family. He's got 2 young kids. He's clearly thinking, geez, I got a family to feed. I just do it. I'll do whatever they tell me to do. I just don't want any trouble here.
Right.
He's got that kind of, he's a gentle human being.
He's like a low key guy. Doesn't want to get in the middle of anything. And yeah.
I mean, he's so like, I remember I walked up to him. Remember when he turned Gordon into Batman, Edson?
Yes.
In Gordon's wearing that big stupid robot suit. I walked up to him and
that was the worst part of his run.
I said, Scott, what are you doing? This is, I'm sorry, I can't, this is awful. I can't read it. And he goes, I know it was one of those mandates, like it was a corporate mandate.
Oh, okay.
He's like, it won't be long. He goes, it won't be long. But he felt bad. Like I was like, oh.
Yeah, we all wondered what happened. It's like, wait, it was going so well. What the heck is this?
It really was. Because he brought that horror element into
Yes. Yeah, that was my favorite part of it. Yeah.
I mean, my God, you start out with the Court of Owls and you go to the, what was it called? Death of the Family. When Joker
Death of the Family
stapled his face back on. And
right. You didn't know it was Alfred until after the car. Didn't he crash the Batmobile or something like that? And then he came out and that's when he had the costume on, right?
Who, Gordon?
Yeah. No, was it Gordon? Was that the panel? I forgot. It's been a while since I read it.
But... Oh, it was a whole it was like a 6 or 8 issue run where Gordon was wearing this big robot.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Robotech costume.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it did. It looked like something out of an anime.
I mean, the Court of Owls was classic. It's like it all came from him.
Phenomenal.
Well, they also did it with Alfred. Maybe I'm getting confused with Alfred because Alfred also dressed up as Batman a few times.
Yeah, it wasn't. I don't think that was. That wasn't Scott Snyder's run.
No, maybe it wasn't Scott Snyder. I'm getting them confused because it's been a while. But I thought that was Alfred. But
no. But you know, and Sean Gordon Murphy was on there. He did the White Knight.
Yeah, White Knight's such a great series.
Right.
It's so good.
He got the crap beat out of him about 2 years ago too by all these weirdos.
Yep.
If you have to read something that's in the last couple years, 3 years, White Knight would be the top of the list for Batman comics. Yeah. It's I guess you could say it's Batman, but it's more Joker oriented.
I didn't realize about it either, because I was actually flipping through it the other day. He's got that collar, which the bat suit, the Robert Pattinson's bat suit has the. I wonder if that's where they got the idea from that comic.
I like the fact too that there was 2 Harley Quinns, which totally was bizarre, and one was like jealous of the other one, and it just got really weird.
Yeah.
And then he was trying to get away from the Joker kind of character, and he kept like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde kind of thing. So cool. Such a cool comic.
Napier was popping those pills to keep the Joker suppressed.
And he kept having to take more of the dosage because it kept, Yeah. It was such a cool book, man. And it was refreshing. It was so refreshing.
Jason, am I wrong? Was that the first DC Black Label book? I think that was the first one.
It was one of the first ones. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was.
Yeah, highly recommend series. Highly recommend. You'll enjoy it. Every I think it was only like a 10 book or maybe 8 book run. But
it was 8. Yeah. I got the
I have all the individual comics. I read it along the series, yeah.
Yeah, there it is. Let me sell
it. Stacey, you would like this too. It's a really good book. White Knight.
Yeah, that's the one I have. Yep. The collected.
Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah, it is good shit. It's good shit.
And I like the politics in it too. Like the Joker actually tries to defeat Batman politically, which is
Well,
funny.
he goes into the library and he learns a lot of law and
right,
and he gets the upper hand that way, and he gets GCPD on his side because he points out, and I like how he uncovers that they had this secret $3 billion annual fund for Batman damage. $3 billion fund for Batman
That's
damage.
awesome.
And he's telling the people of
he turns
Gotham, "You're
everybody
paying
on
for this. You're
like,
paying for this."
Right.
Yeah.
He's like, the taxpayers are paying for Batman to trash their properties, right? He's like, you can take that $3 billion and turn the GCPD, you give everyone in the GCPD Batman armor and Batmobiles with that kind of money.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what they do. And yeah, it's really good.
It's done really well.
It was really good. Great.
Has anybody read the sequel? I know he put out a sequel, but I haven't read it.
No, I didn't read it.
Is it even out yet? I know it was announced.
No.
I don't know if it came out.
Yeah, I don't know if it's out yet.
Because after that, he was caught up in this cancel culture.
Yep.
And he kind of went and did his own stuff, outside of DC. But I know he was supposed to come back and do that. So, if anybody read the second one, but that first one's really, really good. So,
I loved it. It was probably one of the most refreshing comic series I've read in a long time.
Also, the little subplot. Boy, we're spoiling it for anybody who hasn't read it. The little subplot where you find out that Mr. Freeze is indebted to Thomas and Martha Wayne.
Yes,
they helped him with the technology that was able to save put his wife in.
That's right.
Stasis.
Right.
That's right.
So he knows that Bruce is Batman, and he's indebted to Bruce now.
That's right.
That's
I
awesome.
forgot about that. Right.
Really good. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of an old book now. I think it's almost
2
3 years old.
Like 2 years old.
Maybe,
2 or 3 years old.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All Star Batman was okay too. But anyway, go on.
All Star started good and then kind of.
Yeah, exactly.
The same way, Edson?
It started out really good. Then the middle issues were not so good, but then the ending where they had Alfred was really involved with that storyline. I liked the end issues. So it's kind of like the middle wasn't that great.
Yeah, like after the initial Midnight Run style road trip.
Yeah.
Kind of went with you got in that thing with Poison Ivy, and it just
right. That was.
But I loved Two-Face in it. I thought that he did that. He just
right. That was the
badass
beginning.
in it.
Yeah.
The first 5 or 6 issues were gold.
Yep.
Right. Putting a hit on Batman, and then you got all these people after him.
Yeah, it was just like Midnight Run, which we talked about earlier with.
It was definitely that's basically what it was. It was Midnight Run. He had to basically get this character to a certain point, and everybody was getting it. Right.
Yeah, exactly. This one has been talked about to death on everybody's channel, but we have to quickly address it. So, I think this is another Kathleen Kennedy thing. I don't know.
Do we want to keep going with Kathleen Kennedy?
Well, here's the thing, and I'm going to bring it up. I don't want to spend a lot of time because I don't want to give these guys the attention that they're.
I know.
But Disney sycophants at the Rewriting Ripley podcast basically tied any Star Wars fan who doesn't like the Last Jedi or the Disney sequel trilogy in general to Steve Bannon and the alt-right, and put out a video. The video is amazing. Basically saying that the YouTubers are what's the word? Radicalizing people to become alt-right.
Yep.
Haters. It's incredible. And what they did is they went to everybody's channel and they took little snippets out of context, right? And they built this narrative. And it's really funny because Ryan Cannell from Geeks and Gamers, they make it look like he's a victim of this. And they're all laughing over the weekend because they're like, Ryan's the one who's indoctrinating all of us, because he's young. So, he started off, he's like, he's young. And it looks like he, over time, turns into this, like, weird alt-right guy because of the anti-Star Wars messaging on these YouTubers channels. It's just crazy. You know what? Let me just pop it up. We'll just go there. Rewriting. So the first thing that I had to laugh at is they only have like 300 Twitter followers. And here it is right here. Let's talk about the Star Wars alt-right recruitment problem. This is really incredible. So, oh, this isn't it. Oh, here it is. This one. Come on. No, this isn't either. Where the hell did it go? Hold on. Hold on. Sorry. Yeah, here it is right here. So they have 20 whole followers of this blog.
Wow.
20. Yeah.
Even we got more than that.
Yeah. So this is unbelievable. There's just no words to say. So they basically said that they analyzed 1 million tweets and like 1,000 YouTube videos to compile this bullshit data and come to the conclusion that because we hate The Last Jedi, this is where we are. This is the pipeline that they deduced. Keep it. This is really comical. So it starts here with Steve Bannon. All right.
Okay.
I'm still waiting for my pay from Steve Bannon. I know we're small channel, we're new, but come on, we're here. And it trickles down to Peter Brimelow, Milo Yiannopoulos, and Ben Shapiro. And from there, it goes to Paul Kersey, Richard Spencer, Dave Rubin, Mike Cernovich, Jack Pozup, I can't say his name, Jordan Peterson, and Alex Jones. Look at this. Paul Joseph Watson at InfoWars. And it trickles to Ethan Van Sciver, Geeks and Gamers, Tim Pool, The Quartering, and everybody's mentioned in here. Timeline. Look at this. This thing goes on for 90. Jane Theory, YouTuber Jane Theory, printed this out, and it was 90 pages.
Yeah, 90 pages.
And they claim it's a 70-minute read. And it just goes on and on and on. And it's incredible. It's just I couldn't read past the first 2 paragraphs. I knew exactly where this is going. This is like ridiculous.
It's like that picture from Always Sunny in Philadelphia where he's in front of the big conspiracy board.
Right. I mean, they do these little charts with like alt-right, radical right. These are all the tweets, and then it's unbelievable, because Kelly Marie Tran, because she got forced off of Twitter that were goose steppers. And, they never provided the receipts for that either. I think one of the best responses to this was Jeremy at Geeks and Gamers. They cite 5 videos from him where they said he was bullying and making fun of Kelly Marie Tran. So he went and found the 5 videos that they claimed they watched. And he clipped out where he's defending her on every single one of them. He's defending her and saying
that was kept out of their stuff.
And he's saying if you're attacking her, you're a scumbag. It's on his channel. You can go watch it. It's like a 2-minute video where he clips out. He's like, this is what I said. So these people are completely bullshit, disingenuous. Clearly, with 20 followers on their blog and 300 Twitter followers, they did this for serious attention. And my heart bleeds for any loser who spends time watching 1,000 YouTube videos and reading 1 million tweets to write this horse shit.
Mm-hmm.
You're fucked in the head, man. That's all I'm gonna say. You're fucked in the head. And then not 2 days later, this happens. So some comic pros who I've never heard of, starting with this guy, Eisner Award winning, which by now yeah, they really are, man. It's exhausting.
That's like saying the Atlantic Ocean is damp.
Is it?
That these people are insane?
Yeah. No.
Yeah, that is an understatement.
So the Eisner Awards, and this used to be a huge deal, even as far back as like 3 or 4 years ago.
Yeah, I always used to look forward to it. Yep.
Yeah, and we look at the Eisner Awards, and because we're making the Charlton Comics documentary, we're friends with a lot of Silver Age, Bronze Age, Golden Age artists and writers. and they were always still on there. Jose Garcia Lopez, and they were still on there all the time, and you'd recognize the names. I picked up 2020s, and I was like, who the hell are these people? Like there was like 2 names I recognized. One was Stan Sakai, and I can't even think of who the other one was that I recognized. But I was like, who are all these people? Like, where'd they come from? I thought maybe I was reading the wrong one, or these were just partial. These were like the Oscars that nobody cares about, that they don't even put on the show. Like the real Eisner list will be along any second now. There was no other second list. So to me now, the Eisner Award is kind of like kind of what the Oscars has become.
Yeah.
It's a rigged game. Anyway, Eisner Award winning Marvel, DC, and Skybound Entertainment author Sean McKeever. Who? Well, he's written such books as Spider-Man Loves Mary Jane. I should have got the sales numbers from
another understatement.
He's been around for about 30 or 40 years in the industry, actually.
Really?
Sean McKeever.
I never heard
of
him.
He wrote for Vertigo. He wrote a series called The Extremist. He's been around for a while.
Clearly not any top selling books because
very fringe.
Right. So he took issue with how the hashtag Restore the Snyderverse began to trend on Twitter, appearing to take issue with its trending based on his own belief that Snyder Cut fans are nothing more than members of a harassment campaign. We gave into this is what he said. We gave into their demands. Maybe now things will be chill, tweeted MacGyver, punctuating his sarcasm with a screenshot of his hashtag again from Twitter's trending topic list. Okay. But then in response, DC artist and brain surgeon Jamal Igle responds.
Nice.
This is what happens when you cave into terrorists.
Well, congratulations, everybody. We're terrorists.
And then it gets better. Igle's sentiments were soon echoed by Dark Horse and IDW artist Megan Levins, who Buffy the Vampire Slayer Star Wars Adventures, who exclaimed, I saw this trending this morning and I thought the same thing. This is why we don't negotiate with terrorists.
All this over a fucking movie.
Unsurprisingly, like many who make inflammatory statements and receive massive amounts of pushback in response, McKeever would announce that he was setting his account to private. Of course, because of all the psychos attacking me for my cheeky gag. If it was a cheeky gag, you would have put like laughing emojis or something, right?
Yeah.
Or just put JK, just kidding. Ironically, they're calling me toxic. McKeever continued, this time I may just keep it like this for good for a long while. Removing mobs of pop culture stands on Twitter are far too eager to prove their all lost perspective. So I went and I his is locked. I went there and looked. His account is locked. Jamal Igle deleted all his responses to it. They're gone. So he has like his timeline jumps from like March 8th to March 14th or 15th. There's like a hole in it. But hers was still up, so I responded to her. But yeah. Why is it such a bad thing for fans to say Zack Snyder worked his ass off on 2 movies and never saw the light of day? Why can't we see those finished? Why is that such a problem? And I think part of the reason is Zack Snyder doesn't seem to play the Hollywood game. The other day, Ryan Cannell said that he's been doing Zoom chats with Zack, preparing for the charity stream tomorrow. And he's like, Zack he just doesn't play that game. He doesn't like the Hollywood thing. It's not his deal. He's just a regular dude who likes to make movies. So I think that might be part of it. Kind of like Cameron. Yeah.
I mean, there's nothing new about having fans, there's all these things where a show is about to get canceled and a bunch of fans sign something and say, oh no, we want them renewed and things like that. That's not anything new. I don't understand why this all of a sudden is a terrorist activity just because fans get together, a large number of fans get together and want something in a certain way.
Did I forget to share this? Did I read that?
Yeah, you didn't show it the whole time.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah.
All right. Well, you can do the recap. There you go.
Yeah. So
I don't understand where this came from.
I mean, were there threats to have it made?
No,
I know
exactly. Or if it wasn't made, there are threats if it wasn't made.
If you don't make the Snyder Cut, We'll blow up a hospital.
We're gonna
Right,
egg your, we're
right.
gonna egg your houses.
We're
Ooh.
gonna egg your houses. Every single one
So
of you.
is terrorist the new social media buzzword? Am I missing something here? I mean, that's usually relegated to people who blow up buildings, and
It's a
I mean,
very
this is just silly.
Well,
Well,
it goes back to it goes along with
It's an
what
ugly, disingenuous title.
it goes along with what the people at Rewriting Ripley did, just 2 days before with that huge article, basically conflating, your criticism of The Last Jedi to being an alt-right Yahtzee.
Yeah.
Like, well, how do you come to that conclusion? How do you
Yeah.
connect Steve Bannon to me? Because I thought The Last Jedi was a pile of shit. How does that
Right.
happen?
Yeah, that's
And-
crazy.
They figure if
And
they
like I said,
say it
if it
enough,
happened-
it'll actually come true.
And right, exactly.
Right.
If it did happen, I'm still waiting for my check from Steve Bannon. So if he doesn't pay me, I don't want to be lumped in with him. Yeah. So
Exactly.
it's just they're so reckless with this language, just completely reckless with this language.
Yeah, I agree.
And in the opening video, I had Eric July saying, how they conflate something like criticism of a movie to being tied into the worst of the worst in society. How do you get to that?
It's the height of irresponsibility. It's so irresponsible in terms of
It
using
really
this language.
is. And it shows, again, it's a lot of it, I think, comes from a lack of world experience. These are people who sit at home and they learn about the world from TV and the internet, and they don't understand how society works. How you can even recklessly throw around this kind of language like that is beyond me. But with the Rewriting Ripley piece, and a lot of people have been encouraging Gary at Nerdrotic and Geeks and Gamers and these guys to hire a lawyer and go after those fuckers and hit them with a libel lawsuit for what they've accused them of. And maybe that starts to make this go away, because so far they've been bulletproof. Nobody has actually come with a legal document and said, you have done nothing but gaslight and lie. And this is libel and slander, and you've affected their livelihoods as a result. And I think once you see some lawsuits, aimed at some of these people, they'll vanish quick.
Right. Yeah.
Because
There's
right
the
now,
consequence for that kind of bullshit.
right,
Like, tough.
right.
Yeah.
They are so emboldened right now.
Right. There are a few consequences.
Mr. Londell, are you getting a paycheck from Steve Bannon that I'm not aware of? Or Alex Jones? Are they funding you, sir? Because you said The Last Jedi was a pile of shit. Steaming pile of shit. Whoa. Wow. Now that's a terrorist gang. So yeah.
What a Nazi.
So,
Yikes.
it finally looks like it's reaching Congress. It's reaching politicians are finally. I mean, I think she's gone a little far here, but Democrat Tulsi Gabbard went on Fox News. I put a clip in the opening video and says that she could see it on principle getting to it's the same idea that terrorist organizations use, such as ISIS and Al Qaeda, the way they go to the extreme where they take you and behead you for your disbelief and your voice speaking out. But she is concerned, and I think that's a good thing. Someone with some common sense and power has recognized that this has gotten to a point now where it's a little out of control.
Mm-hmm.
She's basically said, let's look down the path and say, okay, where does this cancel culture lead us? You see the final expression of cancel culture in Islamic terrorist groups like ISIS and Al Qaeda, who basically go and behead those who they deem infidels or heretics in order to silence them, in order to protect others from being misled by those heretical ideas in the eyes of ISIS and Al Qaeda. She added, when we look at cancel culture here at home, we see those efforts to cancel or silence those they don't want the people to hear from, those who may offer a different idea than the one those in power want people to see or hear or be exposed to. When we look at the foundations of our democracy, this is the danger of where this path leads us unless we as individuals stand up against it, she said. So we'll see. We'll see what comes of that. But nice to see someone in power finally going, this brush fire has just now burned about 40 acres of property.
Indeed.
Maybe we should put it out.
Nice.
Well, hey, wait a minute. Aren't you on this show?
Hey, wait a minute. But I wanted to bring that up as a point. I wanted it to be actually seen and read. So it's moral indignation is simply jealousy with a halo, said H.G. Wells. I'm sure that these people who are screaming about canceling the Snyder cut and all that are just jealous because their products haven't gotten such attention. That's why it goes back to Kathleen Kennedy getting all pissed off about Luke Skywalker because nobody was crying because Rey showed up and did something.
Well, that's the key that you're hitting on there, Pete, is that they're unproductive people in society. They exist to destroy. They're not creating anything.
Yeah. Well, as Spock said, it is easier to destroy than to create.
I thought Dr. McCoy said that.
No, Spock said that.
Spock said it. As a matter of cosmic history, it's always been easier to destroy than to create. Not yet. Now we can do both at the same time.
Watch out. Here comes Genesis.
Here comes Genesis.
We'll do it for you in 6 minutes. All right. So let's get on to some other stuff, funner stuff. Did anybody watch this?
I did.
I flipped through it. I haven't had time.
Mm-mm.
The production values are amazing, and they should be because
Yep.
they're people in the industry. I like the costume.
They actually played that at the end of Friday Night Tights, and you saw their reaction. You know, Gary and Az's reaction as it was playing. They're like amazed by it. They're like, they got to hire this guy to be Batman.
Yeah. I mean, just Michael Madsen, our old
Michael Madsen's in there as
Bullock. Yeah.
Bullock. Yep.
No kidding.
It's only like 25 minutes. It was a pretty good story though.
I'll skip through it a little bit. Let me blow it up a little bit so you guys can see it better.
Oh, he makes a good Bullock.
Yeah, he makes a great look. The bat costume is baller as hell. Yeah, Mike's gotten a little chunky.
I have to watch this.
Yeah,
I heard this is really good.
Yeah, it's good. It's good.
Yeah. That's
Hugo Strange.
Yeah, well,
Hugo Strange.
Well, that's the character. Yeah. Yep.
I forgot who's playing.
Yeah.
him. It's somebody we know. It's Mr. Freeze.
Oh, this looks really good.
Yeah, he's walking through Arkham Asylum, and you see all these.
Zaz.
Is that Zaz or Clayface? I don't know who that was.
Yeah, it was Zaz.
Yeah, I mean he looks great, man.
Yep.
He really looks great.
Doug Jones? No shit.
Yeah,
that's Doug Jones. That is
Yep, that's Doug Jones.
He is to suit acting what Andy Serkis is to motion capture. Basically, if there's a suit, he's probably in it.
Killer Croc.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah, it looked good.
I'm more excited about this than the official movie.
I know.
Yeah, it was.
I gotta watch this.
It was really good.
I ran out of time today. Joker looks good. The cowl looks awesome.
It does.
Yeah.
Spot on.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Oh, nice. Look at that.
Night vision.
Did you hear they finally wrapped filming of the Batman this past week?
Yeah. I bet you Matt Reeves is probably thrilled.
Oh yeah, he was like drinking champagne and everything.
I am still taking a beating for my the video I did about the Bat Booty call.
Oh, really?
What?
Oh, people are just killing me.
Why?
Because
Thank you very much.
It was a fake 4chan rumor, and like, who cares? I mean, I'm not the only person. I was using Bounding Into Comics article for it.
Oh, okay.
You know, they're just like killing me because it's the Sparkles fans. Because I was,
of course,
ripping on Robert Pattinson, and I'm like, I wasn't really ripping on him. I mean, if he did that, good for him. I mean,
he still did a lot of crappy stuff, anyways.
Right. Are you talking about the rumor where he knocked up Zoe Kravitz?
Where they had sex on the Batmobile? Yeah.
Supposedly he knocked her up, though.
Yes, that was part of it.
I can't see her being with that shovel face guy. Like seriously, she's too
Shovel
beautiful.
face.
He is way too beautiful to be with him. Like, I'm sorry. Like I've enjoyed some of his performances. I mean, I think he's like can be a fine actor at times.
That's awesome. Yeah,
Doesn't he look like he was hit with a shovel in his face? You know he does.
Stacey, you're
It's
2
just
for
the
2.
truth. I'm not like judging. I'm just saying it's true.
So you got Bob Chapek is now Bob Paycheck, and Robert
Shovel
Pattinson
face.
is Shovel Face.
I know. Like, I'm not judging. I'm just saying. It's an observation.
Judge away, please.
Are you saying
please,
that? Are you saying the truth hurts?
It's just an observation. I'm not.
Hurts like getting hit in the face with a shovel. That's right.
But I mean, getting back to this film, I thought it was like it's just as symbolic that these things might pop up more as we get more and more garbage from the so-called professionals.
Yeah.
So it's, a lot of people are gonna, a lot of fans get together and making some of these quality. It's like a 25-minute movie. It's just it's got a good.
The tools are getting cheap. I mean, I shouldn't say
Yeah,
cheaper, but the tools are now available.
They're more accessible, right?
They're more
Right.
accessible. So, I mean, back in the day, if you wanted to edit on the Avid, you had to buy a big Avid system. Now you can edit on a laptop
or rent a room for $350 an hour.
Right.
Yeah.
And I mean, if you have After Effects, you could do a ton of stuff.
And I
I'm
think,
sure that this thing was all shot in a green screen.
Right.
And the more popular stuff like this is, the studios are going to have to take notice when the
Right.
stuff they're producing
Right.
isn't
Right.
making any money, and they're seeing what people actually want and are willing to pay. Spend the time.
Yeah.
where
I
they-
mean, yeah. I mean, I don't think fan films are perfect, but they're pretty
no, but
damn
they can
close.
see there's something there. I mean, there's
Right.
something there. That,
And-
The good ones really stand out.
right. Exactly.
What you
And
see
the thing of it is, I don't want to give this away, but when you guys get a chance to watch it, it's a really good story.
Okay. That's
in
huge.
25 minutes. Yeah.
That's huge.
Yeah.
There's two things. If you're going to do any short films, there's two things that have to be good: the lighting and the story.
Yeah.
And the sound.
And
The
the
sound.
and the
Sound is
sound.
huge. Huge.
But if you're really good at lighting, you can make anything look good. You can make a Polaroid camera look good.
Yep. Yeah, Mr. Lundell, definitely. Trek fan films have been going on since the 70s.
Yep.
Speaking of fan films, wasn't it last week or the week before that
kid. We owe that kid. Yeah, we gotta.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, the Star Wars.
Yeah, that was.
Oh, that's right. I
Without
forgot
getting too
about
deep
that.
into it, yeah, that was actually really well done. You know.
Is he in our chat right now? I mean, I don't know if he's watching, but
if he is, yeah, we will. I didn't forget. Right. I had no time. Somehow I ended up on like 4 other streams.
Is he one of the 7 watchers we have live?
Maybe. So. I don't know. We have more than that because we're on Twitter and Facebook too.
True. On right now on YouTube it's 7, but
last week we had like 115
live
between the 3 of them.
Well, between the other.
Yeah, when I went and looked after, when you look at, yeah. So anyway,
Nice. So
blah blah. So, yeah, and this reminds me of the one they did. What was the one called where Batman fought the Predator and then the alien came and got him at the end?
Oh
yeah,
that was like 2005. Remember that one?
Yeah, I remember that one.
Have you guys ever seen the Bat Dad, the guy who you only see like from here to here, and his kids are in the car and stuff, or his wife's cooking and he like just kind of suddenly appears and goes, "What are you doing?"
That's the Christian Bale thing.
I used to love those. But anyway, we're going off track. But
yeah, Edson, your point is well taken, and I'm going to jump ahead. I was going to do your James Tinian thing next, but I'm going to jump ahead because what you just said rings true here.
Okay. Good one.
The showrunner for WandaVision has no idea what she's doing. She's never read she couldn't even read the comic books. I don't understand this. So WandaVision and Black Widow writer Jack Schaefer continues to do post-show interviews about WandaVision where she exposes how clueless she is about Marvel. Previously, Schaefer detailed that she found it difficult to read comics. She stated, "I'm not a very good comic reader. I have a hard time digesting the storylines."
There's too many. There's too many pretty pictures.
Seriously. And I never know which cell to look at. Panels, by the way.
Oh my God. It's not Japanese.
And I don't know. I'm a disappointment perhaps to the fandom in that way, but the imagery is, of course, very startling and moving and inspiring. And it was Kevin Feige's idea to marry Wanda and Vision to the sitcom world. She talks in giant run-on sentences too. This kind of solidifies a theory I've been rattling around in the back of my brain that a lot of this Marvel stuff's pre-canned stuff. Then when they put a showrunner or a producer or a director out, it's already done for them.
Yeah.
They're just there in name only to kind of. Not only did she reveal she didn't know how to read comics, but in the same interview, she contradicted herself, saying, having seen it in the comics, I thought it would probably be fairly predictable if we told a linear story of, Wanda is upset and she freaks out and creates this false world, and then it's a sitcom. That didn't seem interesting to me. Now, speaking of Mashable, she's revealed she has no clue who Mephisto was and that she did not intentionally create red herrings to refer to him. Schaefer stated, there was never any conscious intention on my part to create any Mephisto red herrings because I don't know who Mephisto was till I started doing press.
Wow.
Holy shit.
Well, somebody slipped them in then.
She went on to state, why did we talk about the devil so much? That's a real coincidence. He was never part of our storytelling conversations. This is the best sentence in the whole thing. Ready for this one? We were very clear that the big bad is grief.
That's really lame.
And then the external bad is Agatha. So as a viewer and a lover of the show and the characters, I didn't want anything more than that, she elaborated. So, wow. That's a lot to unpack.
First now, granted, she was probably one writer among many in that writer.
She's the showrunner.
Obvious.
She's the showrunner.
She's the well, at least in
name only.
Right.
In name only. Yeah.
I'm on her. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I know. I have her IMDb. Right
there's nothing here that's worth.
She's done nothing. She's done absolutely nothing.
She did.
So does that mean like Black Widow's gonna suck?
Yes. She's a token. She's a token hire.
Speaking of Olaf, she did a Frozen Adventure.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, Olaf's Target Adventure. Olaf goes shopping.
He's a normie.
Olaf.
That's what got her the job.
Olaf screws guy at Target.
Ew.
So she's one of these.
Olaf did it for the money.
She's a token hire.
Yeah, there's nothing here.
Look what we did. Look how stunning and brave Marvel is. We gave this show to this young woman, right? But she really had no control over the show whatsoever. I mean, they're putting in little things in the set pointing that Mephisto is part of this thing, and she didn't see them or know what it meant.
How do these people get hired, though? I'm looking at her IMDb. There's nothing.
Says the right thing.
There's nothing quality here.
Because she said the right things, like Keith just said. She tweeted the right things at the right time, and basically, they said she'll a good figurehead to put up in front of the cameras.
She'll be a good soldier, and she'll do what she's told, and she'll do all the press tours, and she'll smile for the cameras. But clearly, and I've had this idea rolling around because the Marvel stuff is very formula. Like the MCU stuff. The Netflix stuff was different. That had a different tone. I'm talking about all these movies and stuff. There is a formula to them, and I think they're kind of like they're pre-baked, like they're half-baked. It's like a frozen pizza. The hard work's done. Just stick it in the oven. And this kind of proves it. If she's the showrunner and she knows nothing about the characters, nothing about she can't even read a comic book. How do you say I have a hard time digesting the storylines?
But there were a lot of references to comic books.
These are kind of the same. These are the same people who turn on and say comics are for kids, right?
And she's writing for.
Make up your damn mind. Either they're too complicated. Jesus.
There were a lot of Easter eggs in this show, which makes me seem to believe they probably locked her out of the writing room because there was the White Vision, there was Agatha, there was a lot of Easter eggs in there.
I think she sat in the writer's room pretending she knew what she was talking about. She's like,
"Did she crochet while we were talking?"
Yeah. No, she was probably just doing the old nod and like, "Oh,
right."
I loved that storyline.
I love the sitcoms. Yeah.
Oh, really? Yeah.
I love White Vision.
She thought the sitcom idea was a bad idea. It was Kevin Feige's idea.
Oh, okay.
That tells you right there that Kevin Feige, like he probably outlined the whole.
Yeah,
plot.
he must have just got ready for her.
Yeah.
She was a figurehead.
Yeah, it's amazing that she would. I'm telling you, I have a feeling she's one of these. I've dealt with enough corporate frauds that she sat in the room and just nodded and pretended she knew exactly what they were talking about. And she probably went home and Googled a few things, you know. But
It's amazing to me. It's like asking me to do a documentary on NASCAR. Okay, you know.
I mean, you're not asked. This is not rocket surgery here, folks. They're not asking her to do much except read a few comic books.
Yeah.
And she couldn't do it.
That's the problem, right there.
Right, but
Like-
she's not part of the culture. That's the
Yeah,
problem.
but even if she isn't, she should have done some
it doesn't
work
matter
to
if she's part of the
prepare
culture.
herself. I mean, I think that's
Yeah,
the bottom line. You
that's-
don't have to. I
that's
mean,
the
you
job.
You could
I mean,
do a documentary on NASCAR if you did research and found out information.
True.
It really wouldn't
Right,
be that
right.
complicated.
Right.
You know,
Yeah,
what
I mean,
you just got to do the work.
I keep going back to Nicholas
Trek
Meyer
2.
for Star Trek 2.
Star Trek
he,
2.
he didn't know anything about Star Trek. He thought, well, that's the show with the guy with the ears, right? And so, once he got the job, he went and he studied up on every bit of Star Trek he could digest, because like, well, shit, if I'm going to be doing this, I got to do a good job.
That's the whole thing. And it actually precedes him, Pete. The producer, Harv Bennett, also knew nothing about Star Trek.
Well, we all know that J.J.
Now,
Yeah.
Harv Bennett, the Wrath of Khan came about because Harv Bennett took the 79 episodes of Star Trek and watched them all. And when he hit the episode Space Seed, the one with Khan, he said, now this is a compelling character. And they left him on this planet. What if something went wrong and he comes looking for Captain Kirk, as for revenge? Like, he got the whole inspiration for the idea from watching those.
Right. From something he didn't know about.
So you
Which is
have
why it was so good.
a producer and a director who didn't know anything about Star Trek, but invested the time and energy into learning and made arguably the best Star Trek film of all time.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly.
Yeah,
So
if you
it's
hired me to
possible.
make an X-Men movie, granted, I don't know, I don't have an encyclopedic knowledge of the X-Men, but if you said, hey, you're going to be doing an X-Men project, you bet your ass I'm going to be reading
Of course.
the past 50, 60 years of X-Men.
Right.
Exactly.
I mean, actors do that all the time. When they get a role, they'll do that. So as someone that's writing for a series, you think that would be top of the list,
And it kind of parallels exactly the whole point with these young people who feel entitled, that I don't have to work very hard. Where's my trophy? It kind of, it's a representation of exactly that. Like, she just felt like she could coast through this thing, right?
It's strange.
It's beyond strange. And I bet I don't think Kevin Feige, Marvel Studios, or Disney is happy that got exposed.
Right.
You've got a showrunner who doesn't know
Admitting
what
that,
you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
And that's her stupidity going on Mashable and saying that's
Yeah, that's strange.
just copping to it is.
Well, I think it's the same thing with Empire. It's the same thing with Empire Strikes Back too, right? With
Irvin Kershner.
Right. He didn't really know too much about it. He didn't Star Wars when he was going into it, right?
No, and he's the best director George Lucas ever.
Right. But of course, JJ doesn't know anything about Star Trek, so we all know that.
And he admits it, and he also admits that he doesn't want to learn about it either, and it shows in the product.
Mhm.
And same with his buddy Kurtzman. Those two.
So what we're trying to say is it works it works sometimes, but doesn't work all the time.
It works if you put in the time and the effort and
Right.
work.
Yeah.
JJ just used this name basically.
Yeah. I don't know. These people who fail upward, it's incredible. You can do that now. You go back to those days with Nicholas Meyer and Irvin Kershner, all these people who actually invested
in the story and making a good story.
Okay, I'm a steward of this franchise now. They're handing me the keys to this luxury automobile. Maybe I should learn how to drive before I get in it.
Yeah. Like Richard Donner said about Superman, we can't be smarter than this material.
Another classic example. Richard Donner. Yep.
And Mankiewicz. I want to say Stephen Mankiewicz.
Tom Mankiewicz.
Tom Mankiewicz. Yeah. We can't be smarter than this material. I mean, it's silly, but we can't think that we're better than what we're writing. We've got to commit to it.
And that's I love the tone of that original Superman 78 because it always rode that line between epic film and goofy comic book. right?
But it was seamless. It did it so well.
It stayed right down the middle
Right,
of
because
it.
they went into it with the right mindset. Whereas you got these, I'm not going to read a comic book, that's for kids. But I'm in charge of a comic book property. You know, you got to do more research than just Googling it.
And Christopher Reeves, the casting was perfect. I don't think they could have casted a better. Superman.
She clearly had help. You've got Elizabeth Olsen
Mhm.
and Paul Bettany know their characters, so she
right. You're exactly right.
So maybe the woman who played Agnes did a little research, but and again, these are kind of formulaic. So I think the people on the production side know the drill. And you're using a lot of the same people.
Yeah.
Who know the drill.
What's really funny is there's a particular project that Keith and I are working on where one person in particular that's working on the project, and I'm going to talk about it, knew nothing about the material and is now a professional. The go-to person to ask.
For example, Jackie Zabushka is my partner on this Charlton Comics documentary. And when Jackie and I got the idea to do it, we knew very little about Charlton. In early on, I asked her to produce it with me, and she was kind of like, "Why'd you pick me?" I was like, "Because I just have a feeling you're the perfect person to do this," and I was not wrong. She said, "Okay, but I'm going to take the bull by the horns," and I said, "Go for it." And it worked out. She loves doing research, and she went all the way to the Washington D.C. Library of Congress and went to the microfilm.
Wow,
cool.
Yeah, she's dove in it. She is now the foremost authority on Charlton Comics.
Yeah, she's the historian.
And it works out great because then I just concentrated on the technical aspect of getting the production done.
Perfect.
Right.
So she does all the research and Jude and I do all the tech.
And when we used to go on panels at Comic-Cons, there was a whole thing we used to do at the end called Stump Jackie.
Yeah.
And basically someone would have to ask a question to see if they could stump her. Yeah. And it never worked.
It was fun when she would interview Denny O'Neil or Roy Thomas, and they're like, I wasn't there that long. I didn't do much work for them. And she'd start hitting them with all this information. And they'd go, "Oh, I forgot about that. Oh, that's right." And she would bring all this out, and next thing you know, they're talking for 2 hours about, she found so much. She's done a fabulous job. I keep telling her she needs to do like a book.
I just think
be able to get her information in a 90-minute documentary. She's got to do a book.
So really what we're trying to say is this is a bad excuse to say something that she's not really doing the legwork, and she doesn't care to do the legwork.
She doesn't respect the project enough to do the work that needs to be done.
Yep. So why do we keep employing you?
Exactly. Good question. Unless she's just kind of, a scarecrow, or she's got someone behind her that wants to do it for some reason.
Well, that's clearly what's going on. There could be a PA with more knowledge than her that's like,
right.
Yeah. She's just there so when the coof is over, she could go to all the grip and grin parties. And I'm a producer for Marvel.
But she's getting paid, and that's the thing. Yep. She's not qualified for the job, and there's plenty of people that are qualified.
Yeah, now she has this on her IMDb and her resume.
How many super fans could have taken the bull by the horns on that thing?
Right.
It'll never get a chance. Anyway, nice house on the lake. DC announces a Black Label horror series by James Tynion IV.
Yep,
I like horror comics.
And Alvaro Martinez Bueno. When his last name means good, that's going to be a good book. Right.
I'm hoping DC has learned their lesson, but probably not. That Tynion's a good horror writer. So when he took his Something's Killing the Children over to Boom Studios, because maybe DC wasn't interested, it became instantly their biggest hit.
Right.
So now he comes up with another creator-owned, and once again he's asking them, "Do you want this?" And of course, this time they're like, "Yes, we do want it." So okay, I won't go to anybody else this time.
Right. When someone asks you if you're a god, you say yes. Yeah. Well, it was Boom's highest selling book until Berserker.
Right. I mean, yeah, of course. There's a special circumstance besides Berserker, but yeah, until then, yeah.
So good.
So I'm looking forward to this.
Yep. Maybe Scott Snyder will be welcomed back to do some horror for the Black Label too, because the one thing Scott Snyder is really good at is horror comics.
Right. And he never came back with remember that hit? We read it, and he said he was going to do more. And he never came back and did anything else with it.
Right. Yeah.
I think he was going to continue Witches. Witches was so good.
Witches with a Y. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. I have a signed copy #1 right in the behind me.
And
Nice.
he was going to continue that story, so.
So Marvel says, yeah.
Yeah.
We'll outsell you. Yeah, we'll see that horror comic and raise you this.
Well, this is a horror comic too.
Oh, my God.
I don't want to get too into this, but here's the thing.
Is that a garbage can lid?
Thank you. That's a garbage can lid. So basically, I think the idea here is that like this kid is like a lifelong Captain America like nut super fan, if you will, and Cap is going on some kind of road trip with Sam
And Bucky.
and they come across him, and he's like living. He's like, this is almost like Batwoman, where she lives in a van down by the river. Like this guy lives. He's homeless too, right? This guy. I don't know.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Either way, he's not flushed with cash, and just because he worships Captain America doesn't mean he's like a superhero.
Right.
I mean, he's there with his overalls and his garbage can lid and his Chuck All-Stars for shoes. And so last night, I was watching YetiCast. I don't know if he's still in our chat. YetiCast had a stream last night, and Fat Steven Seagal was on, and they were looking at this. And Fat Steven said, you know, it would make a lot more sense because this, who cares about this? Nobody cares about that. That's whatever. It's the fact that this character just seems underwritten and it's just, what is it? And are they kind of saying that like that means homeless?
Right. That's a good point.
Wouldn't it make sense that if they came across, maybe this kid's like a super Cap fan, and like, remember the kid who collected Spider-Man? The kid was dying.
Yeah.
In Spider-Man Visit. That Roger
Stern
made me cry. You could do something similar, right? So like maybe he's gonna die. It's a blood. This is all Fat Steven's idea. They say he needs a blood transfusion, and Cap gives it to him. Steve Rogers gives him the blood, and then because the super soldier serum's in Cap's blood, it goes into him. So now, I mean, he might not be as strong as Cap, but at least he's not a regular dude, right? Wouldn't that make more sense?
Yep, that's a great idea.
Wouldn't that give him a great backstory?
Yeah, I can just picture this guy just holding his own
by a train yard. Yeah.
Yeah. Because he likes Captain America, therefore he can hold his own with a crowd of Hydra agents with machine guns.
That's ridiculous. That's like Ryan Wilder picking up the Batwoman costume and putting it on and says she's a superhero.
Yep.
No training required. It's the same stupid idea. Like, what is the purpose? Like, they're going to sell 5,000 copies of this, and they're going to have to cancel it. And then the rage mob's going to come after all of us for not buying it and calling us haters. No, it's a shitty book. That's why we didn't buy it. I might have bought it if it was the other story that Fat Steven came up with. Maybe. Anybody? Bueller? No?
It's just
I got nothing to say.
I mean, you know, what are you gonna do?
Who found this one?
Me.
Stacy found this one. Marvel is going
Oh,
back
yeah.
comics that sold out thanks to the WandaVision craze. Now this is good. This is what bothered me with the movies, that they didn't, somehow the movies and the comic books never intersected.
Mm-hmm.
And the comic books were fledgling and declining, and maybe again that could be because they were doing the all new, all different Marvel. Kids are walking in going, "Oh, yeah, I want Iron Man," and they point to Riri Williams. Oh, okay. How about Hulk? And they point to Cho, and how about
I just
Thor?
think
It's Jane Foster, and you're like,
right.
It doesn't match the movie.
But I just think it's funny. You can go into Walmart and buy Avenger underwear and socks, and that was unheard of. Like all of a sudden now.
But that's for the fake fanboys.
No, I know it's for the fake fanboys, but it's still it's a buzz, you know.
No,
off
I get it, but,
movies, yeah.
it was the idea that the comic books, the creators and the
Right.
comic books
I get it,
being
yeah.
neglected, and that the Marvel Studios was not pushing the print material, not saying, "Hey, if you really liked Captain America: The First Avenger, you need to go read Ed Brubaker's run." of
Right.
Captain
Oh
America."
yeah, I mean, yeah,
And then they're at these mega cons, these huge cash grab
Right.
conventions, and Chris Evans is sitting there on a fucking
Mm-hmm.
panel. Why
Well-
doesn't he say the real hero of Captain America, is that those guys are in that artist's alley? Go over there and,
Right.
and get some prints.
The kids don't know, and you know what's funny?
But that's my point. It was Marvel Studios' responsibility,
Right. To make that connection.
to make
Right.
that connection.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll be honest with you.
What a perfect opportunity to do so too at Comic Cons.
Right.
Yeah.
I was cleaning out a spare one of my spare rooms here, and I found the comic book, the free comic books you get every
Comic Book Day. Yeah.
free comic book day. And how many of those free comic book day comics have you read and didn't be like, oh my god? It was like it was purposely written for those kids, right?
Yeah, well, they do that. They select something to hook to try to get a repeat customer, but
And none of them are really good for free comic. Now I'm just like, no, keep it.
This was Edson. You gave me this for Christmas a couple
Yep,
years.
I love this story.
My brother's been trying to get me to read this forever.
You got to read it. It's creepy as hell, man.
It's
really good.
But
it's
but
the
it has
best
nothing-
Vision story I've ever read.
And it's King too,
Yeah, me
which
too.
is even worse. It's King because
I
his
know,
Batman
I
run
know.
fucking
I think it's
sucks.
I think it's the best thing King's ever done. To be honest
Yes,
with you.
I agree.
Well,
Yeah.
I agree.
Good thing he wrote it in the past because now he's a fucking jerk.
Well, back
He was
when he was
still a
writing this,
jerk,
there was
but-
nothing. Yeah.
I'm not going to read any of his shit after what he did.
No,
No, I don't care if it's good or not.
You
What he did
you
to
owe
Jake.
it to yourself to read this. It's really that good.
Yeah,
Dude,
but
do you
he's a
have
shithead.
Jude, do you have a library card?
God, somewhere.
Go to the library. I'm guaranteeing it's going to be at the library. Just take it out and read it for free. Then you don't have to give him your money.
I could probably
Right.
find it. I could probably find it
There
online
you
for
go.
free.
He admits
You
it.
probably could. Yeah.
Take me away.
He admits it again. Yeah, no, this is great. I think this is great. So House of M and the Tom King Vision series.
Yeah.
Yeah. I did like the Tom King thing. It started a little slow, but boy, did it get creepy in a hurry.
And it's
Yeah.
long too, right? It's a couple books, right?
Like
It's not
12
just one.
issues. 12
Wow.
issues. I think.
Oh, it's only 12 issues because I think they broke it up into 2 volumes or 3 volumes.
Yeah,
Yep.
two
Two.
volumes. Yeah.
But it is an inspiration for what the show
Yes.
became.
Yeah.
Right.
It's not it's not a direct adaptation, but
Right.
it does take a lot of elements.
Right.
Yeah.
In the book, it's a family of visions.
Right.
Mhm.
They're all
Yeah.
androids.
Wanda is not in there.
Right. And Wanda's not
Yeah.
in it.
Oh, okay.
But House of M has Wanda having like a nervous breakdown kind of thing.
Mhm.
So you get the Wanda inspiration from House of M and you get the Vision.
But there's something recognizable for people that like
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
the show. So
Yeah.
that's cool.
Yes.
Mm.
But yeah, the oh man, that King did a good job on that. He really did. He really did.
Yes, he did.
It was pretty creepy.
Yeah, but he sucks.
Why does he suck?
Well, he's an asshole, but
He's an asshole.
what he did over the summer to
Jay
artist
Lee.
Jay Lee was
Oh yeah, that was just.
He went on a bombing
underhanded.
run. He went on a social media Twitter bombing run and really gave some people shit that they didn't need to get shit on.
He did.
I mean, I haven't gotten anything new since then, so.
Didn't he call Jay Lee a white supremacist?
He said all
He
kinds of
lumped,
shit.
it goes back to the earlier article we were talking about Comicsgate and how they conflate that with,
The alt-right.
the alt-right and whatnot.
Nazis.
He basically accused Jay Lee, an Asian man, of being exactly that, and because Jay Lee did some covers for Ethan Van Sciver, and Ethan is crushing it on Kickstarter, making millions of dollars selling his own comics, and they hate that, right? Because Tom King's making $45,000 a year at DC or whatever he's making, 80,000 maybe, and Ethan's crushing it and doing what he wants instead of being driven by corporate mandates. So he basically, like, he wanted Jay Lee canceled. He asked for the fans to cancel Jay Lee. He called the editor at DC Comics and said, "Did you see this? He's working with Ethan Van Sciver, and Ethan's in a hate group called Comicsgate." And Jay Lee, who had just buried his dog, like, his phone blows up. His phone blows up, and they're like, "Dude, what the hell?" And he got really upset, and he called Tom King out. He was like, "You piece of garbage! How dare you?"
Yeah.
And that was the end of Tom King for me.
Me too.
It's like it's like he did this all at a bar drinking too many whiskey sours. He just fucking bombing run. Just
Yeah, it was awful.
It was terrible. And didn't take any responsibility for it. Didn't even apologize. In fact, I think he actually said some tweets that were really bad and then took them back. I
What
think he deleted
spurred
it.
him to do that, though?
Probably because
he was in the Whisper Network.
Probably because there was an atmosphere then. He wanted to make sure the fingers never got pointed at him. So
Okay,
how do
so
you
he's
do
like,
that?
look
You
over
point
there,
somebody
put
up.
it. Yeah, got
Yep.
you.
Right.
Got you.
He was afraid. He was in that Facebook Whisper group. He was working with those women, and he was making sure that he was insulated from them.
Right.
And he went after Jay Lee, who's been drawing comics for 30 freaking years, and he worked with Ethan in the 90s. That's why Ethan said, "Hey, dude, want to do a reunion thing here? Do an alternate cover for my Kickstarter." Harmless.
And
he
and
took
it
a
was
gig.
right, and it was
Yeah.
completely uncalled for. It wasn't like there was any premeditation. He just fucking did it.
He saw it and he took it.
We've come to the point in the show where we have to check in on Jack Wayman.
I don't know why you guys. I don't know why. There's no reason for this. Keith.
Yes, there is reason.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
You watch Lower Decks, man.
Yeah, you
I
watch
wanna-
Lower.
Lower Decks is over. This is still going.
Yeah. We have,
But there was a time when Lower Decks was still continuing.
we have to check in on the ratings, and
Dude,
guys,
you guys didn't ask me about it.
we have to give credit where credit is due.
It's
This
so
week,
bad.
ratings-
It's like watching an animal die. It's-
Not this week.
Nice.
This week the ratings went up, my friends. The ratings went up. They
Okay,
went up
so-
10% in the demo and 21.05% overall. They're back over 500,000 viewers. Javicia Leslie.
Nice.
Hey, you know what?
Flatline.
I think Javicia Leslie's adorable. And I'm
Yeah, but
The
that's
girl
not
that
gonna.
plays Batwoman? Yeah. she's
Yes.
pretty. Yeah.
That's not gonna run the
Cute.
show though.
she's cute. They give her the most vile trash to come out of her
Stories
mind.
Yeah, that's not her fault.
No,
Yeah.
exactly.
She'll
She's
do
just
all
hired
right.
to do the
I think
job.
everyone knows that, you know. She can
Yeah.
just do with it what they give her, you know.
I love how in this graph too, there's empty Sundays, as if it's gonna get better. Scroll down.
That's the season. That's the whole
I
run.
Yeah,
know
that's
it's
the whole
season,
season.
but it's like they're setting it up like, oh, there's more left.
Yeah, it's just just like a CSV file they import. That's all it is.
This is like Bitcoin right here. This is like this is like how volatile
I'm
Bitcoin
shocked
is.
it went up because I watched Az's review of this episode and
Oh yeah. He said it was the worst ever.
the worst ever. It took him 48 minutes to get through it. It was
Wow.
his review was longer than the show.
But it was more entertaining though.
Yeah, exactly.
How many people were drinking while watching this episode?
I don't know.
They should put a little
I don't
asterisk or
watch it.
something.
How
next to
long
it.
are the episodes? Are they like within an hour time frame with commercials?
42 minutes without commercials.
Okay.
You know what's funny though is Superman is getting such a huge following. I wonder if this is an impact of that because people are watching.
Don't
Superman.
talk about it. I didn't watch this week's yet.
So here's what happened. Well, it's airing while we're on.
Right.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it airs.
Okay. I feel like I watch it. I watch it Wednesdays.
It's
That's
on
why I
the
watch it.
Wednesdays.
Brother, did you
I did
you
watch
watch
last week's episode then.
Brother, did you watch any of the Supermans yet? The CW one?
I'm sorry.
Brother, have you watched
no.
any of the CW? No, not yet.
My review is almost done. I'm reviewing 3 episodes at a time, so I'm
Wow.
1 through 3.
It's supposed to be good. It's
I
supposed to be
like it.
good.
4 through
I
6.
like it, all right.
So,
Good.
episode 1 debuted at 1.745 million viewers. Then it dropped 30%, basically to 1.2, but it held for episode 3. Actually, went up a skosh. So they're still at around 1.2 million viewers versus the 500,000 or so for Matt Whammon. This show is, I love this show. Just watched all 3 of them again as I was preparing my review. It makes me smile. It makes me smile. They have gotten the tone so perfectly right with this show. And not only that, I just it's old. It's like an old-fashioned show, like where the family gets along and the brothers support each other. And like you don't see that shit anymore, you know?
Yep.
And I think this woman who plays Lois, Elizabeth Tulloch, she's got the Margot Kidder kind of thing going on.
Exactly.
She was great in Law. I mean, in Grimm. She was in
Her
Grimm.
even her mannerisms and strut is her.
It's the first time they've gotten Lois right in a while too.
Yeah.
The Batwoman, Mr. Londell, the Batwoman. I hope Javicia gets more. I hope she doesn't get like stained from this, like Daisy Ridley did.
They signed up for another season, though. That means she's still going to be hired next season.
I forgot to pull that story too. Ruby Rose wants to come back now.
Yeah.
No, you can't do that. You can't do that. Once you're in, that's it. Once you're out, you're out.
Well, she wants to come back.
Daisy Ridley's in a new movie right now with Tom Holland.
Is she?
Mm-hmm.
Is that the woman there in the woods or something?
Yeah, it looks weird.
Okay.
His other one looks really good, but
yeah.
But for a while, she was complaining last summer, like nobody's calling me, nobody wants to hire me. Remember that, Pete?
I do. Yeah, it's the same thing with Jodie Whittaker in Doctor Who. Basically, she's the face of a failing franchise, and the fans don't want to have anything to do with her.
Right. Right. So Javicia might have to go do like independent stuff or like, dramas or something. The next time she gets a franchise, it'll be a while, if ever. That's what happens, like when you're the face of the fail.
Yeah.
So Zatanna and Batgirl projects confirmed for HBO Max's DC lineup. Okay.
All right.
They do Batgirl right. I know we
Are they individuals?
What's that?
Yeah.
They're individual projects, right? They're not together.
Yeah.
Okay.
Two separate.
Yeah, they're supposed to bring at least Barbara Gordon into the Titans season 3, I believe.
Okay.
But I don't know if that's going to be like the end of that season will spin off into something. I don't know.
Well, if they do it right, if the costume looks like right here in this picture.
Yeah, that looks really good.
Yeah.
I was always vegetable cape was a good idea.
That looks exactly like the comic. I mean, that's basically what it is.
It's funny you say that, Pete. Every time I see a cape, I just think of The Incredibles. No cape.
Yeah. I think early on, this design had a whole lot of face piercings, and that was the dumbest thing on the planet, I thought, because that's the first thing I'm going to go for. She's kicking my ass. Rip her earring out and see how good she is.
Tear her nose right off. Yeah.
And Batgirl was always a redhead, right?
Yep.
Well, it's the wig that's attached to the.
Yeah, but not in the comic. She always had red hair.
No, she's an actual redhead.
Right.
In the comic, on the TV show with Yvonne Craig.
Oh.
Yeah. We know that, but in the comic, we're saying.
Yeah,
Barbara Gordon.
Yeah, but Hollywood has a problem with redheads, so they're probably gonna.
That's
probably
stupid. That's
which
so
will be stupid.
dumb.
It's amazing.
These people need to be fired.
That's so stupid.
People that are sitting in the meeting until something has to be said. Oh, excuse me, we don't like redheads. Get the fuck out of the office, out of our meeting.
It's really weird.
I know.
Yeah, it's really weird.
It had like 50 of them.
Yeah, that whole article. That was
Listen, everybody knows who Danny Bonaducci is. Okay, come on.
And our last rumored story of the night. Scoop claims Zack Snyder rumored for Justice League sequels and Wonder Woman 3.
No, Wonder Woman 1990. She turns into a grunt. She wears a flannel and turns grunge.
So this comes from. Hang on, I got to do it because it comes from our old pal. Where is it? Here it is. So, just to reiterate, I'm hearing exciting things from multiple sources. R.E. Snyder cut. So, JL2 and 3 might not be possible. So, some suits want Zack Snyder to direct Wonder Woman 3, which I think is an excellent idea. So, the hype is real. Don't let up now.
Well,
I think it is an excellent idea.
Oh, absolutely, it's an excellent idea.
I wonder if they're going to crash the servers, dude, because everybody's going to be watching this at once, dude. It's going to be like.
Let's hope, because
they've
been saying that there's no sequel plans, but you throw a lot of money at them.
How many people are going to be pinging that server, dude? They must have multiple ways of getting this movie.
I'm sure when they planned to release this and they knew what was coming, I mean, they're hoping that this takes their subscription to a whole new level, right?
Right, but the same hour, the same minute, everybody's going to be watching the same hour.
They have backups on top of backups. This is going
There'll be a lot of people that probably wait to the weekend to watch it.
It's going to be so much traffic in that one. The server is going to be heated up, dude. It's going to be like glowing.
It's going global.
Yeah, it's going to be
globally.
The IT guys are going to be in OT. They're going to be paying overtime.
Stay off the internet from tomorrow night on because people are gonna
Yes,
be
exactly.
spoiling
Yeah,
it.
stay off the internet.
Stay off the internet. Don't click on. Yeah.
Yeah, the reviews are already coming in, and I'm like so tempted. Is it good? Is it good? No, I better not.
I know. Don't.
Well,
don't
you
read
know,
anything.
and you know, I'll tell you the truth. It's a product of YouTube because if you put in the review
Mhm.
first, you get the most views.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm with you, Mr. Lundell. Unfortunately, it's going to be Ezra Miller Flash.
Mm.
One of the worst casting decisions ever.
Yeah, he was super annoying
Oh,
as Flash. There's a movie I like him in, but it's not as Flash. Yeah.
So just to reiterate, tomorrow night on Uche Waneri's channel will be the Snyder Eve celebration
Snyder
with
Eve.
Zack Snyder himself as part of it. They'll be auctioning off all kinds of cool collectibles like this 11x17 concept art signed by the cast and Zack.
Looks pretty badass. That thing looks.
That's really cool.
How big is this thing?
11x17.
Wow.
Well, it's landscape, so 17x11.
Yeah.
They're taking the money that is raised tomorrow night and giving it to where's the charity itself?
I actually like the fact that they
Foundation for suicide prevention. So far, they've raised 16,000 plus, and their goal is 50,000. I think they're going to smash that tomorrow night.
I actually like the fact that Cyborg doesn't have the half thing. I always thought they should make him more like
RoboCop.
RoboCop,
Yeah.
right?
So this will be fun. I'm going to be tuning in. It starts at 8 o'clock Eastern, so 7 o'clock Central. I think Uche's in Texas, I believe. So
cool.
And we'll
he's
be
in Atlanta, so he's on the East.
Yeah, and we'll be watching it on Friday in a theater.
Thursday.
No, we won't.
Thursday.
Thursday.
Sorry, Thursday in a theater.
In a
I'm
theater,
losing- right?
With Mitch Halleck from Terrificon and Connecticut GamerCon, and Jerry Ordway from DC Comics.
And
We'll
on
be discussing it on Friday.
Right on Friday, we'll be discussing it. That's what I
Friday
meant.
we'll
Right.
discuss it at 11 a.m. Eastern with
Yep.
Jerry and Mitch as part of our ensemble. So
The power. What is that? The power.
Cosmic Podcast.
I love that photo.
That's Jerry
That
and
little
Mitch.
thumbnail.
They do a podcast.
Nice.
Yeah. So that's it for that. Don't miss that stream tomorrow night. And the link to Uche's suicide prevention charity stream is in the show notes. So if you can't find the link, it's in our show notes. All right, let's go around the horn. I got about 10 minutes left. I gotta bolt at 10. So, who's got recommendations?
I haven't seen anything new, so someone
I
can
do.
go first.
Stacey, you are up first.
Okay, so I'm 3 seasons deep into Vikings, which I'm totally loving.
right.
Season 2,
Yeah.
episode 10 was amazing, like just so
Wasn't it?
good. Oh my god, so good. So that's a definitely. I waited a long time to watch it, but I got it now, so it's good. Also, I don't know if you guys are familiar with a series on HBO called Raised by Wolves.
I've heard about that. I
Ridley
haven't watched
Scott
it yet.
one, isn't it?
I don't know. I'm not really sure who did it. It's weird as hell. It is so weird. And it's like one of those things where I don't love it, but I can't stop watching it because I need to see what happens. And the finale is fucked. Like it is so weird. Like I don't know what to make of it. I want other people to watch it so we can discuss this thing that I saw. And I don't even.
I think it is Ridley Scott. Yep.
Okay.
Really?
That would make a little bit more sense.
Not
but
seeing his name on here.
No.
Oh, okay.
No,
Where am I
it's-
getting some Ridley Scott?
Aaron,
I dig the whole Android AI.
I don't know why I associated that.
IA thing, like AI. I like that kind of thing, generally speaking. The concept is different and interesting, and again, it's not something I think I would watch again, but it was interesting. The last episode, though, I'm not sure if I'll watch the next season, which it's been renewed. And I don't know. So, if you want something different, definitely give it a try. If you got some extra time on your hands, that's it.
All right, Edson, what do you got?
This isn't anything new. I went back and rewatched Titans season 1. I know a lot of you have seen it. Some of you haven't seen it. And I was just wanted to say, in terms of the recommendation, if you're not familiar with the material, you'll probably like it better, because there's certain things that they did with the show that comic book fans might not like. For example, Starfire is completely different than the real Starfire, for example, as a character. The race swapping is not that big of a deal, but her personality is completely different as well. I hate when they do that total change. She's basically not Starfire. She's a good character if you're going in new, but she's not who you think she is, basically. It's just hard to explain, but you've seen the examples of this before. In general, I think it's still a good show, but if you're familiar with the material, you might be disappointed in some of the things they did.
All right, Pedro, what do you got?
One of my favorite movies turns 99 years old this week, and I am watching it on Blu-ray.
I was gonna
Nosferatu.
I knew it. I already posed. I was like,
this is a brand new print of it. It has been digitally restored, and it is absolutely wonderful. It's got the original score. Yes, Jude. Now all you audience members, mine's over here.
I'm sorry. I was just having too much fun with that.
It's got the original score. The original they went back and actually got the original sheet music and re-recorded it.
Cool.
And it's properly tinted. It's
that's awesome.
So nice. Yeah, so if you can find it, it's by Kino Video. It's on Blu-ray, and yeah, you can find it for free. But the film nerd in me says find the Blu-ray.
So you could find the same version for free, you said?
Yeah, you can find the same version for free, but it's got canned music, and it isn't tinted, and the intertitles are wrong. And this is a better version to get.
Right. 99 years old. Wow.
99 years old.
Crazy. Next year is the 100th.
Next year I'm going to be half as old as my favorite movie.
I gotta watch it. I gotta watch it.
I'm glad you brought up the physical media, Pete, because I just scored Bill Hunt from Digital Bits, who will be coming on in about a month. And we're going to talk about the history of physical media and where it's going.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm excited to get Bill. That's going to be fun. Jason, what do you got?
All right. This is my new comic book obsession. It's called Lazarus by Image Comics by Greg Rucka and Michael Lark. Has anybody read this?
Oh, I read the whole series.
It's phenomenal.
About 3 times.
Oh my god.
It's great.
It's like one of my favorite comic books ever now.
I can't wait to
I can't. Well, it's been optioned by Netflix, right, Edson?
Yep. Is that? I haven't.
Okay.
I don't know if it was Net. I thought I thought I heard Amazon, but maybe it's Netflix. I don't know, but I haven't seen much progress on it.
Yeah.
I'm really hoping that they'll make. Have you read the whole series yet, or where are you at?
I've read the entire series. Yeah,
okay.
There's 3 hardbacks and there's a host of trade paperbacks.
Right.
But it deals with that post-apocalyptic future where 17 families control all of basically the world. And
there you go.
It reverts back to a feudalism time where these families, they control all these countries, and they have armies. And the heads of these armies are called Lazaruses, and they're genetically modified family members of theirs that are the frontline troops. So when the families go to war, they put the Lazaruses in the field. And the story revolves around Forever Carlisle. She is the focus of the story. And halfway through the story, she kind of feels like, wow, I'm not a biological member of this family, and it kind of fucks her up in the head. So it takes her character,
really good,
twists it. It's really amazing, and I recommend it to everybody who hasn't read it. It's one of my favorite comic books now that I've read in the last 10 15
She's
years.
one of my favorite comic book characters. Yep.
Yeah.
And who publishes that?
Image,
of course.
I'm not sure if this is the Lazarus for that though. What is that? I mean, this says
no. This is a superpowered.
No, this is not. This is not that. No, that's not her.
No, it's not the same thing.
Yeah,
no.
It's not the same.
It's been optioned. I think
it definitely has.
It's been optioned, and it's not done yet. They're going to print more of these. They're going to produce more at Lazarus's. This is. I don't think he's done with the story yet.
Unfortunately, it's fallen into what Judah calls the Image black hole, where it's like now they're taking longer to come out with new ones. But
You have to wait
Just
4 or
have to
5
wait.
months. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that option hasn't gone anywhere because it would have been on
Right,
TV if
right.
it was even in pre-production.
I don't know
Yeah.
how many comics I'm still waiting on Image for.
By the way, great
But
episode of podcast Pint of Comics. Our buddy John Amenta and Lloyd Green. They did an episode on Lazarus. I want to
Yep.
say late
I
summer.
heard that.
Was it late summer? Yeah, it was really, really good. So
It was good.
Did you want to go back and find
Yeah.
that? Yeah.
Yeah, the art is phenomenal. The writing is top notch. Greg Rucka is a pro. It's very, very, very realistic art. So it's got beautiful renderings.
Nice.
Kind of looks like
very cinematic.
Matrix. Looks like Matrix, kind of.
Yeah, it's very dark ops type of stuff.
Yeah,
and it's got
definitely
he does a lot of world. It's a ton of world building too. He provides maps and he provides all of these biographies. So you'll have all of these biographies of all the families.
So I'm assuming
So-
don't
Oh,
pick
wow.
up.
There's a ton.
So I'm assuming don't pick up the
Yeah.
floppies. Pick up the hardcovers because that probably has more stuff in it.
Yeah, I would go with the hardcovers. You can still pick them up on Amazon and places in stock grades.
Or
Nice.
support your local comic book shop.
So
Yeah,
I know.
you can
Right?
probably see
Let's-
it there too.
Let's keep pushing
Or your
that.
local
Right. Let's keep pushing that.
What do you got, Jude?
So I'm kind of boring. I've actually gone back and watched Christopher Nolan's Batmans, which
cool.
I haven't seen in a while. I mean, I haven't seen The Dark Knight in a
Those are my
while,
favorites.
and it's probably been a while. I didn't realize how long it was since I saw it. And for what it is for the time, I think maybe it aged a little better than it really did. I don't know how many people have watched it recently. Anybody?
I haven't watched it in years.
I kind of catch it. If it's on or something else.
Yeah, if you
watch it.
rewatch it, it kind of aged for some odd reason. I don't know why. Maybe it's because the DC movies now aren't as good, but it's aged better. And I don't really mind it as much as I used to. I didn't think it was really a good film, but now I kind of like it better for
I
some
love
reason.
Christian Bale's Batman.
And Christian Bale's Batman is not that bad, but it's so
I like
funny. Like I said,
Bruce Wayne is awful.
I like him.
Yeah, but it seems to be a
I still
better.
loved American Psycho then.
Ooh, I watched most of it. I have to go
Yeah.
back to it.
But I for some odd reason, I think it's a better Batman now. For some odd reason, I'm
What are you laughing about, Edson?
I don't know.
The script is a bit of a
The
mess.
back and forth.
I remember watching that with my then girlfriend who's
Right.
a writer, and she was like, "Oh my god, this script is a horror show." And I was like, "Good, I didn't want to say it." 'cause-
The only thing I didn't really like was even though I love what's Tom Hardy, but he sounded like the Pepperidge Farm Remembers guy when he talk like this.
Oh, Bane.
Bane sounded like the Pepperidge Farm Remembers guy.
Hey, what are you talking about?
That was a bad Bane.
It was such a bad. He was such. He's a great actor. I don't know what happened there, but ugh.
It was
You know,
just a bad Bane.
When you've had a Milano cookie, then you have my permission to die.
Pepperidge Farm remembers.
I think
I
what it
can't
is.
watch it and not think of that.
I think what it is Netflix does a very good job when there's nothing good on Netflix and you finally decide to pick a movie. You sometimes revert to things that you probably wouldn't have watched if you just had it in your collection. But because it's on Netflix, you're like, fuck it, I'm going to watch this. And I think that's what happened. I ended up watching The Dark Knight that way because there was just nothing on Netflix I wanted to watch. And I was like, oh, fuck it, I'll just watch this. And it was a good choice. So
There you go.
All right. And I will go last. And I watched, I don't have much time to watch anything, but I watched a documentary last night called Happy, Happy, Joy, Joy. It's a
Ren and
Stimpy story.
oh God.
It's really, really interesting documentary. John Cristofalusi, much like many people who are genius and see things completely different from the rest of the planet, are also very, very flawed human beings. It's a kind of a tragic tale because that show was dead before it even got off the ground because of him. But it's great. It features my pal Bob Camp in there. Bob's an awesome dude and was one of the original directors and storyboard artists on that show. And yeah, it's a great, really, really fun watch. You can only get, you get it on Amazon. I got it for like $15. Who answered for me?
Me, I don't know why it came up with that. Sorry.
No, it's cool.
That was me.
That's cool. Here, I'll put it up to Mr. Lundell. I don't know if you can see it because you send it only to Twitter.
I sent it to everything. All. I
Hello,
think
Orville
done that.
Hey,
Nation.
DJ, you came in right at the end, my friend. We're about to say goodbye till next week or till Friday when we do our let me shamelessly plug it again.
Yes.
Our Justice League review with Jerry Ordway and Mitch Halleck. I can't wait to hear what Jerry says because Jerry's the one who got the idea to kill Superman. So yeah,
that'll be really interesting. I'm excited to hear what they have to say.
Yeah, his name will probably be in the credits again. So.
That's cool.
Happy Joy. Really good documentary. And Pete, all I thought of was back when Ren and Stimpy was in its prime. That's when you and I were in college, and
We actually met John Kay.
we did.
He was nuts. He was nuts. There's no more time in the show to
We're all my
relay any
friends.
stories, but man, yeah, he was out of his fucking mind.
Yes, he was. Yes, he was. So, and a lot of what he said to us is in this documentary.
Did he really?
Remember we said something about interns, and he made some kind of really off-color pedo type comment back to us.
Yeah.
It's in the movie.
Boy.
Oh boy.
Yeah. So it was really, really well done documentary. And it gave me encouragement for our Charlton Comics documentary because some of the interviews were in 2016. So they started right around the same time we did. They clearly had more money because they have a makeup artist and stuff because they have outtakes.
Mm-hmm.
We had just enough money to get me and Jude and Jackie around. So rent a big Yukon or something, and we were able to get to Florida though. That was at least we got to chip out. Hopefully we get that thing done soon. It's a great story, and I really want the world to see it. So, all right, I guess that's it. It's time to go through the usual shite.
I didn't even realize I was muted. I was like, so my mom's asleep on the couch. So that's what I'm going to say. That's why I muted. But anyway, we actually know Bob. If you could hear her. We actually know Bob Camp from Comic-Cons.
No, Bob's a friend of mine.
Yeah. And he knows us by name, which is kind of funny. Every time he sees us walking by, he's like, hey!
I'll share my favorite.
We feel kind of special.
My favorite Bob Camp moment was 2 or 3 years ago. We were leaving the convention, and the way you have to work is you have to get the union guys to come get your stuff. So I said to Jackie, "Why don't you go get the paperwork filed and get them to come, and I'll sit here with the gear," because we had we broke down all the stuff, and I'm just sitting there with it. And the hall was pretty empty at that point, and there was a door that was kind of ajar, and I see Bob walking around out in the outside there, and I see him. He looks in. And it's like he could barely get his face in there, and he's looking around. And I was waving, but I was so far away, I didn't think he could see me. And I'm waving to him, and all of a sudden he goes like this. He stiffens up, and he goes, and he runs away.
Yeah, he's a great guy. And anytime you go to his booth, he's always there with his wife. And if you talk to him, you'll be there for about good 20, 25 minutes just bullshitting because he's just so he's just got that character where it's like him.
Yeah.
Wrap it up.
Are you giving me the rap?
Yeah.
Are
But
you
somebody's
giving
got
me
a heart
the
out.
rap?
Somebody's got a heart out.
I got to talk to my daughter. Hey, how's it going, Captain Trek? Too bad
Everybody's coming in now.
Sign off. I know.
That's
like,
unfortunate.
what's
You still
going
has a
on?
heart out.
It's because
Are they all on Cali time?
Somebody else's stream ended clearly, so
Aw,
we got to move our
sad.
stream. We're at a bad time. Anyway, we're on all the socials at the GeekTime net. That would be the Twitter, the Facebook, and Instagram.
Insta.
Yeah, I did a new one here too. Where is it? Here it is. We're also on Minds.
Oh, I heard. Yep.
_network. I don't really do much there yet, but I only promote our stuff. There's like 20 followers on Minds, so what's the point? Our website is geektimenetwork.com. You can email us at geektimenet@gmail.com. I see we got a little angry face here.
I know. That was been there for a while.
Yeah.
Maybe it was just something that we're talking about upset them. Like they agreed. They were agreeing with us.
I see who it is. Yeah, it's a friend of mine from college. Actually,
he's like mad about whatever we're talking about too. He's like,
or mad at us.
Oh, maybe.
Well, we're here every Tuesday night, my friend, and you can watch the replays, of course. And we'll be doing other things coming up. So let's shamelessly plug one more time our Friday live stream at 11 a.m. Eastern time with Jerry Ordway. Oh, let me get that damn thing down. Get off there. With Jerry Ordway and Mitch Halleck will be joining us. So that'll be awesome.
Be there or be square.
Please subscribe, share, like, comment, smash the like, smash the subscribe, tell all your friends. They don't even have to watch, just subscribe. We just need numbers.
Yeah.
That would be cool.
Tell your mom, grandmother,
aunts, uncles.
Yep. Your animals. Just have them paw the button.
All right. So that would be it for another week. We'll see. I'll see all of you on Thursday night for the Snyder Cut in a movie theater.
Yes, in a movie theater.
With popcorn.
With popcorn.
Movie popcorn.
Yes.
Geek's excited. I could see it.
Popcorn for dinner, baby. Popcorn
I'm
for
telling
dinner.
you, I have not been excited for a movie since this is like Star Wars level excitement. I am just pumped for this thing, and I know it's going to let me down in a way because
because you're just so excited for it.
Well, that and I've
Are you
never
ready
been
for your date?
I've never walked out of a Zack Snyder movie going, "That was perfect." They're always fun to look at. They're really stylized and they're gorgeous to look at, but there's holes in them. So
Don't look for the holes.
You can't help it if they present themselves.
If you know the material, you can't help it.
Okay.
Yeah, you can't help it.
Did you see the second trailer?
I've seen all the stuff, dude.
Just turn it off.
I am hooked. I'm bringing a second pair of underwear for when Dark Knight goes up.
It does the beams, the I beams.
The Omega Blast. Yeah. All right. Well, that said, I will see you guys Thursday for the Snyder Cut, and then again Friday for our review of the Snyder Cut. And until then, who's gonna say it?
If we don't see you on Friday, see you next Tuesday.
Ooh, that was a good one. If you like this video, please subscribe to the channel. If you subscribe, make sure you click the little bell icon to be notified anytime someone from our show drops new content here. Thanks for watching, and we'll talk to you soon.
Say, kids, what time is that?